serving fans throughout the Midwest and even more around the world. This is the Show Me Sports Network. The following is an exclusive broadcast property presentation of the Show Me Sports Network and is a high-fidelity, all-digital broadcast. This broadcast is copyright by the Show Me Sports Network for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this broadcast without the Show Me Sports Network's written consent is prohibited.
Bit more of a high. They're 4-1 on the year. However, one of the things that you might look at is the fact that Osage has played some pretty tough competition. So their 1-4 could look a lot more like a 3-2 or a 4-1 had they been playing some different teams out here. So what are your kind of thoughts on Osage before we get into the pregame interview?
Yeah, well, it's similar to what we saw last year with this team. In 2022, Osage played some really tough opponents to start the season. They started 0-3, then they won 7 straight games and finished the regular season 7-3. So it's really kind of history repeating itself in terms of the struggles to start the season. Now it's kind of a matter of, can they rebound as they did last year? And so far, they haven't been able to do it quite as swiftly, but we'll see if that changes here tonight.
Yeah, and last season, their first winning record in the last 5 seasons. So they were experiencing some pretty good stuff last year. A lot of fans had to be happy from that. This year, again, they're back to, a losing record. But I'm not sure you can be too disappointed in the way that they've played. Now, again, you don't like to take 4 losses, but if there was a good way to take 4 losses, this is the way that you would want to do it. Again, they started off the season against Jeff City. They lost 3-40, not a good performance. But after that, they kind of rebounded. They lost by just a touchdown against Moberly, who's 5-0. They lost against Blair Oaks, who's 4-1, but it's Blair Oaks. Eldon, they beat, and that was a game that was tough for Hallsville to win last week. They beat Eldon pretty handily, 37-12. And, Hallsville, it took them to the final drive in order to put away Eldon. It was a final score of 50-42, the final score of last week. So kind of looking at that and the fact that, Osage, they dismantled Eldon, whereas Hallsville had a tougher time against Eldon. Right now, that is their similar matchup in games that they've played. Now, Osage also did play California last week. They lost by 3, so a tough turn of events for them. Probably another game they were hoping to win so that they could look at a 2-3 instead of a 1-4. So maybe that's the only one that you can really look at and say, hey, maybe they should have won.
Yeah, you think they maybe should have won that game. And look, this is a run-heavy team. It's been talked about a lot here in Osage. Aiden Williams, the running back, had 1,300 rushing yards last year, 15 touchdowns. Here in second-team All-District and second-team All-Conference. So they really emphasized this run game. Last week against California, though, it seemed like they aired the ball out a little bit more. Maverick Trusty, the sophomore starting quarterback for Osage, was 11 for 18 for 115 passing yards. He did only have 1 touchdown and threw for 3 interceptions, but it seemed like they maybe weren't as run-heavy as they have been in the past last week. So maybe sort of shifting their idea, maybe they're shifting their game plan a little bit. We'll have to see how that translates towards tonight.
And we'll have to see what happens from sophomore Maverick Trusty, the quarterback who is in charge of this Osage Indians offense. But we've still got a little bit of time until the game starts. So coming up next, after we have a quick break here, we're going to be turning it over to a live interview with head coach Justin Conyers here on the Show Me Sports Network. Exclusive content coming up after this. Don't turn away.
Running out of some of your favorite Avon products and haven't seen an Avon brochure in quite some time? No need to worry. Avon Independent Sales Representative Michelle Carty can help with your Skin So Soft makeup, jewelry, fragrance, and skincare needs. Avon now carries cleaning supplies, clothing, daily essentials, and several small LG electronic items. You now have the opportunity to shop online 24/7 and have your order shipped directly to your front door by shopping with Michelle at mcarty.avonrepresentative.com or find her on Facebook by searching Avon Carty.
At the Boone County Journal, we're with you all the way. We know that you're more than just a subscriber. You're an employer, you're a parent, you're a neighbor. Most importantly, you're a community member. It's our goal to provide you with the latest news, sports, opinions, obituaries, classifieds, and more to keep you informed about your community. To find out more about the Boone County Journal or to subscribe, call 573-657-2334 or visit bocojoe.com. The Boone County Journal. We're with you all the way.
And welcome back to the Hallsville pregame show on the Show Me Sports Network. I'm Austin Thomas, joined once again by head coach Justin Conyers. Coach, how have you been doing this week?
Been doing good. We actually got to practice on our turf this week for the last 2 days, so that was very exciting for our guys, and it just really was uplifting. You could feel the energy change whenever I announced right before practice on Wednesday that we get to take the field for the first time. And stadium's not complete yet by any means, but they had all the testing done and the turf has been cleared, and we are cleared to practice. So let me tell you how nice that is for the boys not to walk a half a mile to practice every day and back, and also not to have to, worry about practicing on that dirt field that we call our practice field. So yeah, it's been a real good week for us.
So I guess with the new field, or at least ready to be played on, was there any changes to practices at all?
No changes to practice, but just being able to really, the energy is what I saw was the change. We were able to really. The best thing for me is I don't have to try to count where the 20-yard line is. Every time we're doing any kind of conditioning or anything, we can actually show up and there's these bright, vibrant numbers and these big lines on the field. And I tell you what, it just changed the whole field of practice. So it was like I said, it was very uplifting, I think, for everybody. Coaches were upbeat, players were upbeat. And with all of the travel we've had this year, it's well deserved for our kids, and to be able to give them that this week, it was needed, especially with another long bus ride tonight down here in Osage.
Yeah, and before we get into that Osage game, one of the things that I like asking you usually is to kind of go back on the game we saw last week against Eldon. Now, it did end up being a shootout performance right there, but as you mentioned in the pregame, it's going to be very similar to what you're seeing at Osage this week. What was something that you kind of focused on defense that you think is going to help you that maybe you weren't executing too well in that last game?
Stopping the run still, that's been the thing is, one of the things that we did better this week that I'll tell you about is, for us, it's really hard to make in-game adjustments without either using a timeout or at halftime, simply because we don't have the luxury of, two platooning and all of our defensive players sitting over on the sideline with the ability to, watch replay and get those things corrected. They turn around and they go right back out on the offensive side. So last week, seriously, during a timeout, I call it timeout. Coach from the booth is sending down pictures to one of my other coaches on the phone via text message, and we're making adjustments in the game that way based on the timeout. So what I said was, going forward this week, my suggestion in our game plan meeting Sunday was, let's go ahead and make all the adjustments right now that we think we may need to make going into this game, and let's practice them all. So all we have to do is call it out, and we can get to the adjustment. So we haven't quite got that in depth defensively yet, because we've had a couple looks we felt good with going into the week. But this week was much more detail-oriented and making sure that we really dial in on those adjustments so we're able to just call them out and our kids know them, and we can get them without, like I said, without calling a timeout or without having halftime to make that adjustment.
So do we think that we're going to see I was going to say, do we think we're going to see a slower paced defensive scheme, but that's not really something that you can bring out there. Do you think that maybe a change in the pace of play at all is going to be
really, I think it just gives it gives us the ability to jump in and out of different looks, because the biggest thing when you're seeing run dominant teams like we've seen in the last 2 weeks, you have to give them different looks. You cannot sit in the same defense, especially whenever you're not winning the rep in that front, and so having the ability to practice different things and different fronts for our kids to get into and different coverage schemes, we hopeful that is, going to be able to help us out tonight. So it's one of those deals where it's being over prepared instead of being just not, we're never under prepared, but preparing just enough, So we felt like, hey, let's over prepare this week. We'll use it if we need it. If not, it's something we can carry in our back pocket as the season progresses.
Yeah, and now kind of switching back over to looking at the offense, what was something that, you've been working on offensively that you can improve upon last game?
Still being able to run the football between the tackles. I felt, in the fourth quarter when we got that big stop down, and it was right at the beginning of the fourth there, and we were able to get a stop inside the 20-yard line in the red zone and then go ahead and drive the ball down and score. A lot of that, we wanted to eat some clock, so we went back to our run game. And so that's something we've been focusing on this week, is getting better in the run game, still continuing to improve up front with our offensive line play, and our backs, being able to get downhill quicker. And so that was something, like I said, this week we wanted to focus on, running the ball between the tackles and giving, our wide receivers and our quarterback not a break, but just not always putting the pressure on them to have to come up with the big play all the time.
Yeah, and well, if you are to go with a more run, are you expecting to go with a more run-heavy offense here, or do you still expect to pass the ball about as much?
It's not who we are. Our identity. Let's don't kid ourselves this year, guys. I mean, honestly, you have years where you can line up and play smash mouth football all night long, and to be honest with you, that's really just not who we are. We have guys that can make plays all over the field, and that's not saying our backs can't make plays in our offensive line, because guess what? Our offensive line and our backs are pass pro for our quarterback and for those wide receivers. So they're just as important in the pass game as they are when we're running the football. But having the ability at times to hit it in the middle and being able to run physically downhill and creating those gaps for our runners, that takes that pressure, like I said, off our quarterback and our wideouts. But it's still going to be, what we're doing right now with the way Braden Matheny's playing quarterback for us and the way our wide receiver core is out there, not only just receiving, but blocking on the edge for our screen games and everything. I mean, that's who we are this year. That's our identity. So that's not going to cease.
All right, well, now kind of looking more towards Osage's team. They're not looking great this season. They're 1-4 heading into the game. What's something that you've seen that has been the reason why they've lost so many games, you think? What have other teams been doing well against them?
This is one other thing here. Let's don't kid ourselves, too. I'm telling you right now, and this is not just coach talk. They're probably the best 1-4 team that I've seen on film. They're extremely well coached. Coach Jolly does a great job with those guys, and I tell you what, they're very physical running football. And that's really, I think what can get them at times is that, they're 78% run. That's what our tendencies tell us. That's what all of our reports we run in 5 games tell us. And so when you have a good run-stop defense and you can line up and stop the run and force them into some uncomfortable situations to have to get behind the sticks and have to throw the football where they're not as comfortable, I think that's where teams have had the upper hand and caused them some problems, on the defensive side of things versus their offense. And so that has to be something we've talked about all week that we're trying to do too. We have got to be better at stopping the run. It sounds like a broken record week in and week out, but we have to start making our move towards this final third of our schedule. And right now is where we have to start getting ourselves prepared to start playing championship football. And championship football it's got to start on the defensive side, and it's got to be better this week.
And, the entire season, it's been the 4-2 front. Are you expecting to stick with the 4-2 front, or are you going to change that formation up a little bit?
No, we are. I think one thing that I'm really excited about this week is the ability to create depth. That's one thing we talked about early on, in preseason interviews was, hey, we need to find a way to get more guys on the field to get our bigs a rest. And we did that this week, too. We created some more defensive linemen, guys that are competent. They've been playing some other spots, but not getting tons of reps at them. So being able to get those guys in to spell our big guys. Now, I wish that we could just find the depth at linebacker. If I could find a way every now and then to be able to get Xavier Stinson off the field and get him a break, I would love to be able to do that. But that's a kid, honestly, him and El Fanish, who are, they are playing both ways almost every single rep on offense and defense, and so we've got to find a way to get those guys off. And that's something that we've got to do better on early downs is getting teams in situations where they're behind the sticks, forcing them into doing things they're not comfortable doing, and then getting our dudes off the field. And really, they're not getting off the field, but getting them back to the offensive side, because our whole mentality changes and the energy picks up once we get those defensive stops. You can see it when you're watching it. You can feel it when you're coaching. We've got to make that happen more than just 1 to 2 times a game. We really got to get, the transition football, and we've got to make sure that we are creating turnovers or creating stops to where we get our offense back out on the field and create that momentum shift within the football game.
Well, I mean, you talk about it on offense, kind of getting out there. Do you feel like is that a chance to catch stamina? I mean, it's not. I mean, you're running plays out there, but it's kind of going at your own pace of play because you're the ones in charge of how the run, how the plays are run. Is that something where you feel like your guys can kind of pick back up what they've lost?
100%. Think about it this way. On offense, we 100% know where we're going, who we're blocking, what route we're running. And defensively, it's a guessing game. Yeah, you got your tendencies. Yes, you have your keys. Don't get me wrong. But you don't know where that ball's going. You don't know if they're going to play action you to set you up to show you the run like Eldon did last week and then hit you with a deep ball over top when everybody sucks in on the run. So it does create a better stamina because how fast our guys are running routes and but it's at your own pace. It's at your own will, so to speak. You know exactly where you're going, what you're doing, And, mentally, that kind of changed the game for us as well. So it's both physical and mental, to be honest.
All right. Going a little more in depth with Osage's team, what do you think is maybe some of their strengths that you've seen on tape this season?
Tough-nosed defense, I believe that. And I think the offense real quick is they run block extremely well up front. I mean, this is what they do. They're a big-time gaps on you, and, that's something they do extremely well over there on the offensive side. And defensively, they're going to pressure our quarterback. I see that 100%. They're really solid on the back end as well. And so I can see them bringing a ton of pressure tonight to try to disrupt the rhythm of Braden Matheny and try to get the ball out of his hands a little bit faster so that he's not able to sit in the pocket and deliver the ball downfield by the way he does. So, it's one of those deals where we have to have our ears just like we do on defense, and we have to be ready to pick up that pressure.
All right, another question that I've kind of had over the last couple of weeks has been, I mean, you mentioned it, obviously this season it's been Braden Matheny, the quarterback, but last season Nichols was your quarterback. We haven't seen him pass the ball this year. Can we expect to see him passing the ball maybe at some point over the future, and maybe like a trick play kind of thing?
Wink, wink. Maybe. We'll see. I don't know. But, hey, we have some things in our pocket. I talked to his be ready for some fireworks as we start to move forward here in the next few weeks. We've been practicing it. We keep it in our back pocket at all times. I'm not a huge trick play guy. Anybody who's coached against me or has been on my staff, they know that. But we have some fun things that are going to be pulled out at some point in time. We just got to find the right time and in the right spot in the game to bring them out. And it's one of those things where you never want to like not use them, but you also don't want to rely on type of things to get big plays. It could be a huge momentum shift when it does happen. And so let's don't forget that this kid's athletic and he can do a lot of happen. And it's into that last stretch before districts. And so this is where we need to start, like I said earlier, getting ready to start preparing ourselves to play championship level football. And so another thing for us tonight, going to be a great crowd. This is a great environment every time we're down here. Lake TV covers it. It's a big time place to play. Every time we come here, they always pack it out. Doesn't matter what the record is. This is a big game between us two, especially in the Tri-County. So big night tonight. Fans are going to be, packing the stands as you see them all coming in right now. It's going to be a great night for football tonight.
All right, well, hoping for a fun game here, hoping the offense can keep it up and the defense can get some good stops tonight. Anyways, that will be coming up after this. Thank you once again, head coach Justin Conyers here on the Show Me Sports Network. We'll be right back after this with more on the Hallsville Indians. Their game coming up in just about 5 to 10 minutes. We'll bring you that coverage here on the Show Me Sports Network.
RV is your locally owned and operated RV dealership in Festus, Missouri. We've been in business since 1972, with several of our employees having over 30 years' experience each in the industry. We strive to put customer satisfaction first and foremost. Buffs RV has a well-stocked parts inventory with our main focus on our service department. Call us at 636-937-9183 or stop by and see us at 2085 US 67 in Festus. Whether you need advice, parts, or service, and everything in between, Buffs RV, where your adventure awaits.
At Centurion Cares, for more than 3 decades, their focus has been on exceeding customer expectations for contact center software solutions. Their innovative communication solutions include utility interactive voice response software that allows for smart communication features that let your utility deliver superior customer service 24/7. They also provide other streamlined services like automatic call distribution, automated customer callback, reporting, and quality assurance. To find out more about how Centurion Cares can help your business, call them at 727-421-5300 or look them up online at centurioncares.com. Centurion Cares, innovative communication solutions.
There's no better way to celebrate a special event or show someone just how important they are to you than gifting them something handcrafted from Country with a Heart. Handmade in mid-Missouri, Country with a Heart specializes in hand-built woodworking projects for every occasion. Their design collection includes children's furniture, doll furniture, household items, holiday decor, outdoor decorations, custom projects, and everything in between. To view their full inventory of projects, visit countrywithaheart.com and find them on Facebook by joining the Country with a Heart group page.
The following public service announcement is brought to you by the Eddie Gaedel Society, Jefferson City Chapter 10, doing little things to make a big difference.
Want to make a big difference in your community? Be kind to others, drive safely, and put litter in its proper place.
Join us in celebrating Eddie Goodell's historic Major League appearance as a member of the St. Louis Browns by doing something nice for someone today.
Take a walk, Eddie.
Colton Nichols, receiving and rushing, has just been outstanding for this offense. Zach Jure, Isaac Stinson, a couple of other guys. And how about Abe Elfaniche rushing the ball? He's been a powerhouse there. So it's just a lot of contributions coming from a lot of different places. And it just seems like every week this offense is putting up crooked numbers, and we'll see if it continues here.
Yeah, and maybe one of the most shocking things is the fact that Hallsville right now, they have 2 500-yard receivers plus a third 350-yard receiver to go along with a run game that has a running back who's ran for 430 yards and 11 touchdowns.
And this is all after just 5 weeks.
Exactly. I mean, the averages are through the roof right now.
These are a lot of stats that you'd expect a lot of teams to have at the end of a season.
Yes, I mean, you really would. Now, it's coming into a game that is, Osage, they run the ball a heck of a lot more, and there's a lot of teams in this mid-Missouri area that do run the ball a lot more than Hallsville. Hallsville, one of the more pass-heavy offenses, as we've seen this year, a little bit of a change from recent years, and it's worked out for their offense. I mean, 45 points per game cannot be debated. That is a good offense. And no matter who you're facing against, 45 points per game over a 5-game stretch is fantastic stuff that we've been seeing.
It really is, and they'll be tested tonight against a Osage defense that has had some success in recent weeks. They've played a little bit better than they did, and they've played some really tough opponents. We mentioned it during the pregame show, Osage. That 1-4 record, yes, it looks rough, but they played a lot of tough opponents. They did the same thing last year, and they had a 7-game winning streak afterwards last year. So for Osage, this is really where they're going to be looking to turn their season around. They schedule these tough opponents first on purpose. They want to play the tougher guys first, and so it benefits them for the rest of their schedule. So this is where Osage is really going to look to turn things around, and it'll be a tough test for this Hallsville team.
Yeah, definitely cannot underestimate them, and well, we're going to see exactly how that plays out as the game clock is ticking down to 20 seconds to kick off here live from Osage. Once again, I want to thank all of you for tuning in and listening to the Show Me Sports Network's coverage of the Hallsville Indians. If you're listening online, remember that you can catch us on YouTube and watch the game if you would like. Follow us on YouTube at the Show Me Sports Network. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you aren't already, and also hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of our broadcasts. We're broadcasting for the best coverage in the mid-Missouri area. Also, if you're watching on YouTube and you do want to listen to us, well, you can check us out online at showmesportsnetwork.com. Or you can also download our app on the App Store or on the Google Play Store. Any of those options to listen to us. Say you want to listen to us in a car ride, or maybe you just want to have us on in the background and kind of tune in to hear what's going on. A lot of different ways that you can do that. Personally, I love listening to games in a car ride or so.
Oh, yeah.
So, a great way to do that. But we are underway as the kickoff is going here. Hallsville to return to start off, and muffed on the original kick return and going absolutely nowhere, stuffed back at the 6-yard line after the muffed punt right there. I believe that was Dalvin Smith. An unfortunate turn, but nonetheless, the Hallsville offense has proved to be very stout, and it will be tough to stop them back. So while Osage starts off with, really pushing them deep back into their territory, they can't let Hallsville get some momentum here.
It seems like wherever Hallsville and their offense, it seems like wherever they start the field, it doesn't matter. And so we'll see what happens here. Obviously, good for Osage to pin them back. Tough for Dalvin Smith, but we'll see this offense go to work here.
And the ball officially placed at the 7-yard line. So Braden Matheny takes the field. Left side, it's going to be Isaac Stinson and Zach Jure. Colton Nichols in motion. Quickly thrown over left side to Nichols, who's got it. He's up to the 15, call it the 16, before he's taken down in bounds. So a nice little 9-yard reception there brings up a 2nd and 1. And that's a pretty nice situation to work from after being pinned so far back in your own territory.
It really is, and that's what Colton Nichols does for this offense. He is just such a threat all over the place. 766 total yards this season so far. He's been fantastic.
Matheny takes the snap. He hands it off to Elfaniche, who spins around and tries to work his way up for the first down, but it looks like they're going to mark him just short. Stopped at the line of scrimmage for no gain there, and it's going to bring up a 3rd and 1 from Hallsville 16.
Yeah, Abe Alfanish been really good so far this season for this Hallsville team with the defensive line of Osage standing strong there and forcing a third down.
All right, and almost the same setup coming out here. You got Colton Nichols on the left side, Isaac Stinson out wide. On the right side, it's Zach Duray and Xavier Stinson. The snap, Braden Matheny takes it. He throws right side. A flag is on the play, but it is pulled in by Zach Duray, and he's going to be taken down at the 25-yard line. Now, we'll have to see what this flag is going to be on because it was thrown almost as the ball was thrown. So maybe we're seeing a little bit of pass interference. I'm not sure because it did seem to be within 5 yards.
Yeah, pass interference would be my best guess. We'll have to see what the call is right here.
And neither team moving, and it looks like a legal man downfield for Hallsville. That's what the PA announcer just said. So bring that reception all the way back and push them back 5 yards as the refs are still talking it over. And yes, that is the decision they've come to. So back 5 yards, and it brings up now a 3rd and 6 after that penalty. And, man, that's a tough change.
It really is a tough one, and despite the penalty, I really liked how quickly Braden Matheny was able to get that ball out.
But we'll have to see what he does here. 3rd and 6, back at their own 11 right now. Braden Matheny still in the shotgun, it looks like, with Abe Alfanish behind him. 3 wide receivers on the left side and 1 on the right side. Here comes the snap. Back in the pocket, thrown over the middle. A great pass to Xavier Stinson. He's got it for the first down. Hallsville moves the chains as they get it all the way up to the 21-yard line on a nice 10-yard reception from Xavier Stinson.
Well, this Osage defense so far, they're giving these Hallsville receivers too much room to work, and Braden Matheny sees that, and he's able to get the ball off really quickly to Xavier Stinson on the slant for a nice first down.
And a way to work out of their own 20-yard line. They're all the way up to the 21. So now they got some pretty nice space to work with. Again, 3 wide receivers on the left side. So here comes the snap. Handed off to Alfanish, but he's taken down right behind the line of scrimmage. Again, stuffed on the run. The run defense from Osage looking pretty good today. And that was something that, Coach Conyers had told in the pregame. So a 2nd and 11 coming up from Hallsville's 20.
Yeah, they have a strong defensive line at Osage, and it'll be interesting to see now. Hallsville tried to focus more on the passing game, and it's not something that I think they're too disappointed about because the passing game has looked really good this year.
Now Matheny takes the snap. Nobody in the backfield. He's looking to pull it deep, and oh, man, he's brought down well behind the line of scrimmage. A great sack from Osage. That's going to be Drake Williams, the sophomore. The sophomore linebacker comes around, and he gets the sack for Osage, and it pushes Hallsville all the way back to their own 10-yard line to bring up a 3rd and 21. Not quite the way that Hallsville wanted to start this one.
Yeah, really not. I mean, Braden Matheny really just had no time there. A great play by Drake Williams, and really multiple players on that defense were able to work their way past the offensive line and get that pressure. So it'll be a tough 3rd down here.
3 receivers left side. The snap to Matheny. He's looking to go deep. He unleashes this one, a high thrown ball, and brought in by Isaac Stinson on the left sideline. What a catch. He goes over the defender and pulls it in before getting pushed out of bounds at the 50-yard line. Wow.
That was a majestic throw, Austin. That ball had some serious hang time, and Isaac Stinson was ready for it. He almost looked like an outfielder just tracking that ball near the sideline, and he does a great job coming down with it. And this Hallsville offense, 3rd and 21, no problem.
Yeah, and a 1st and 10 coming up right from midfield with 8 minutes and 40 seconds to go here in the first quarter. And yeah, Braden Matheny, he really just made that one a fly ball. It was a jump ball. He knew his receiver, Isaac Stinson, and Stinson came up big with a huge 40-yard reception for them. The snap now, motion out right. Now getting the ball is Colton Nichols, and he's caught behind the line of scrimmage. Called a loss of 8 on a tackle for loss from John Kimmery, the senior from Osage. He comes around and gets a big tackle for loss, and it's seemingly been TFLs or big plays for Hallsville so far.
Yeah, John Kimmery's had a really good year so far for this Osage defensive line, and they're ready. They're ready to go. They came ready to play, and they're making some solid plays, doing the best they can against this explosive Hallsville offense.
Well, 2nd and 17 coming up. They'll call it a loss of only 7. Still a large loss nonetheless. They're on their own 43-yard line. Nichols in motion. Matheny takes the snap. He's looking. He's in the pocket, a clean pocket, but a little bit behind Isaac Stinson over the middle, and that one's going to fall incomplete to bring up 3rd and 17.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit of a miscommunication there between Matheny and Stinson. That ball was thrown on a line, but behind Stinson. Of course, a lot of defenders in the area, so that may have played a factor as well. We'll see Hallsville challenged again here on 3rd down.
Well, you don't really see Matheny miss too many of those kind of throws, do you?
No, you don't. You definitely don't. He's been really sharp, not just tonight so far, but all season long.
Yeah, and a little bit of a platoon swap here for Hallsville as they switch out personnel a little bit, get in a stack on the left side, 2 receivers stacked up, plus a guy in the slot. Colton Nichols comes in motion from the left side. Now Matheny takes the snap. He's looking deep. He throws deep over the middle, and that one almost intercepted as that was Dane DePee who was right under that one, but couldn't come away with the interception on a slight overthrow from Matheny to bring up a 4th and 17 from Hallsville's own 43-yard line. Now, you know, Hallsville, they don't like punting the ball, but this might be a situation where you do finally see them do that.
Yeah, unfortunately for Hallsville, they can't get anything more going on that drive after the big play to Isaac Stinson. And, you know, it's just tough because the run game is not working so far. So it's forcing this team and Braden Matheny to try to throw the ball down the field. And good coverage by Osage there on that 3rd down.
So the punt on the right side, and it's taken in, trying to return this one and getting up to, call it the word, waiting for an official. It looks like they're going to call him out at the 36-yard line, as that was going to be punt returner Dane DePee, who I had just mentioned almost got the interception. He pushed that one all the way up to the 36 before going out of bounds. So that is where Osage will start their first drive of the game.
Be interesting to see here how the Hallsville defense looks against this Osage team. Obviously, we talked about it in the pregame as being a very run-heavy offense. We'll see if that's really the game plan for Osage so far, and how does this defense respond? They haven't been super sharp this season.
Maverick Trusty in at quarterback. He's under center. He takes the snap and a run right up the middle. Some smash mouth football right there. I believe that was Aiden Williams who ended up taking that one up the middle. The junior running back for Osage. They kind of ran 2 running backs in the backfield right there. And they faked the handoff to one of them and went to the other.
Yeah, Aiden Williams, the main guy, but Jason Colonius, also a junior, also making an impact in the run game this season for Osage.
Still 2 running backs in the backfield. The snap to Maverick Trusty, and that one's handed off up the middle. Colonius, who you just mentioned, he's making his way up the field, and he's taken down across the side into Hallsville territory, down at the 43-yard line, as that's Jason Colonius, who gets his first carry of the game. And, well, the run game working pretty well for Osage through the first 2 plays. Again, a small sample size, but it has been something that has plagued Hallsville these first few weeks.
We expected it, and we're going to see a lot of it. Just that hard-nosed football for Osage. That's the game plan, and that's where they're going to find their success.
The snap, it's going off to Aiden Williams, who's got a lot of space up the right side in the middle. A nice block, and he could be gone. He's at the 5. He's taken from the ankles, but he's across, and that's going to be a touchdown for Osage. A 43-yard rushing touchdown for Aiden Williams, the junior from Osage, and he comes up big time to put the Osage Indians ahead 6-0 with 6.5 minutes to go in the first quarter.
The 3rd rushing touchdown on the season from Aiden Williams, and I mean, wow, that drive was just fantastic in all aspects for Osage. Nothing too complicated, just running the ball and making plays happen.
Brady Clark with the PAT, and it is good. So now the lead sits at 7-0 as Brady Clark put that one through the uprights. 8 for 8 on touchdowns this season, or on PATs, sorry, this season for Clark. And, well, the 7-0 lead, that's not quite how Hallsville wanted to start it out. A couple tackle for losses on their first drive of the game. Maybe getting that cleaned up a little bit and working on opening up the run game.
Yeah, I think the real cause for concern is how well the run game is working for Osage and how not well it's working so far for Hallsville. We saw Abe Alfanish not really be able to find any openings on that first drive. We'll see on the second drive if they go back to the run game and try to make some improvements, or if it's just going to be the pass game and trying to air the ball out like they did to Isaac Stinson on that 3rd down.
And we will have to see exactly how that happens and what's going to end up working out here. A pretty nice crowd at Osage from both teams. A lot of the Hallsville faithful filling up the away section. You see the students, the student section up there. They're cheering on. Looks like they're dressed up and cheering on with a few of them dressed up in flannels and cowboy hats. I like to see that. To support their Hallsville Indians out here now.
Homecoming here.
Yeah, it's homecoming for
and
Osage
senior
as well.
night, already the last home game of the season, of the regular season for Osage.
Yeah, so a big night for Osage as well. Hallsville, of course, they are eyeing their home opener still, while Osage is playing their last home game.
Yeah, Osage is going to be done with their home games before Hallsville even gets one. That's something you don't see very often.
Well, the kickoff here, and it goes left side, but it trails out of bounds, so that's going to be brought all the way back up to the 35, where it will start for Hallsville to get back working on offense after they had to start last drive all the way back at their own 6.
Well, if you want to make some improvements on this drive, it'll help having a lot better field position up at the 35-yard line as opposed to in their own 10.
Yeah, and, well, last drive didn't end up working out too well. However, Isaac Stinson still had a fantastic 40-yard reception, so you kind of want to see the passing game working like that. Matheny, I think he missed he missed a couple throws.
He did miss a couple throws.
Not something that you normally see. We'll see if he gets to settle in a little bit, as right now it does seem to be a passing play. Nobody else in the backfield. Matheny takes the snap. He does actually toss it forward to Colton Nichols, but Colton Nichols is going to be taken out a yard behind the line of scrimmage, and that's not a play we've really seen from Hallsville recently, and not quite working out right there, as it's brought 1 yard behind the line of scrimmage. A 2nd and 11 coming up from Hallsville's own 34-yard line with 6 minutes to go here in the first quarter.
Yeah, Hallsville trying to make plays with their premier playmaker in Colton Nichols, but it didn't work out there. This Osage defense has really stuck with it so far in this game, and they've been able to shut down almost anything that Hallsville has been able to come up with.
Yeah, now in the backfield, it's Abe El-Fanish. Braden Matheny still back and the shotgun as well. 2 receivers right and left. Matheny takes the snap in the pocket. He throws right side to Colton Nichols, and it's off Nichols' hand. A tough play right there is, not really in great positioning for either one. Would have been a tough completion, and that one does fall incomplete. So it brings up a 3rd and 11. Hallsville's offense not really working like it's been working in the past few weeks and really this whole season.
Yeah, I think on that last play, Colton Nichols, as good as he's been all season, I think he went up for that ball a little bit early. I think if he stayed on his feet and ran a little bit upfield more, he may have had a better chance at catching that ball.
Well, same formation as last time. So Matheny takes the snap. There's an extra man blitzing. Matheny rolls out right. He throws over to Isaac Stinson, and oh no, it's out of his hands. It falls incomplete. Looked like it could have been a huge completion, but it does drop to the ground. So that's going to bring up a 4th and 11 from Hallsville's own 34-yard line. And, man, that is a tough mistake to happen right there.
Yeah, Isaac Stinson is going to want that one back. Braden Matheny made a really nice play to get out of the pocket, scramble to his right, make a nice throw on the run. It wasn't straight at Stinson's chest, but it was a good enough throw that Stinson should have been able to come down with it. So another disappointing end of the drive for Hallsville.
The 4th and 11 here. The punt, it goes away. It's high arcing, bounces right at about the 36 on the opposing side and rolls a little bit, gets all the way over to the 31 before it's downed. So Osage will be starting their next possession from their own 36. Not, terrible field positioning, but Hallsville could have hoped for a little better on that one.
They could hope for a little bit better, but really it's going to come down to stopping the run game on this drive. Aiden Williams was unstoppable on the first drive. Also a nice run from Jason Colonius. So we'll see what adjustments the defensive line of Hallsville is able to make here to try and shut down this run game.
Well, the 1st and 10 coming up now for Osage. They run that same formation. The 2 running backs in the backfield along with Maverick Trusty. The snap, it's handed off and running up to about the 35 before being taken down. It's going to be Aiden Williams, so a 4-yard gain on that one. That's been their smallest gain yet this game.
Yeah, they're finding some holes in this defensive line, but a nice play there by Shadrowski and Xavier Stinson to be able to come up with that tackle and limit the damage on 1st down.
So a 2nd and 6 coming up here as Osage will start with it at the 35 here on the 2nd and 6. Same formation as last time. The snap, this one's going off to Aiden Williams, and he's going to pound it up the middle for, call it 3 yards before going down at the 38-yard line to bring up a 3rd and 3 with 4.5 to go here in the first quarter.
So Osage sticking with their strategy, but some adjustments made by this Hallsville defense so far, able to limit the damage on these first 2 downs. Now a critical 3rd down to try to get the offense back on the field.
Yeah, and in a 7-0 game right now, that's what you're going to want to see from Hallsville's defense, who, it's going to be up to the defensive side of things to see how this game runs. A little bit of a different formation. Under center, it's Maverick Trusty, and the handoff on the left side, up the middle, going down at, call it the 40-yard line. It's Jason Colonius, but it's not enough for a first. So a huge 4th and 1 coming up here.
That's huge. That's a huge hold and a really nice defensive play by Hallsville. I believe that was Xavier Stinson in on the tackle, and just a strong play against this running back, Aiden Williams, who had the big touchdown run on the first drive, and now I expect them to go for it here on 4th down on their own 40. So a huge play in this game already here in the first quarter.
Well, I don't see John Kimmery back there taking the snap, who's their punter. So the snap here, and a flag is thrown. It looks like it's going to be a false start. Is that what the refs call? That is. It's going to push them back to a 4th and 6, and this is a game changer for Hallsville. So 3 straight run plays that do get them an average of 3 a carry, but nonetheless, they are stopped short here, and, well, after that penalty, it kind of changes the outlook on things. So it does look like Osage will come back in the same formation. They look like they will go for this on 4th and 6. But a timeout is going to be called here, the first timeout of the game for Osage, with 3 minutes and 14 seconds to go in a 7-0 game in the first quarter. So first timeout for Osage right there, and maybe not one that you wanted to waste.
Yeah, that was an enormous penalty there on 4th down. I mean, this run game has really had no problem moving the football. Only 1 yard. I mean, that's easy considering this run game, but now 6 yards, and you start to question it a little bit more. Hallsville and their defensive line have looked a little bit more competent on this defensive drive, so it'll be interesting to see what Osage draws up here on 4th down. Do they go back to the run? Do they decide, hey, we're going to punt it away, we're on our own 35-yard line? Because though the Hallsville offense hasn't been able to find a whole lot of success so far, they don't want to give the ball back to Braden Matheny in their own territory.
No, they definitely don't, because they know exactly what Braden Matheny can show. And heck, he's already showed it one time this game with the jump ball to Isaac Stinson. Great placement on that one, and it was a 40-yard completion. Now, it wasn't enough to push them down into, scoring position, but it still was a great play, and they have seen that now. So they do bring out the punter. John Kimmery comes out here to kick this one away, and Hallsville returning this one. It's going to be, believe that's Isaac Stinson. Yes, the punt is away. It goes left side, and it's going to bounce back to the 35-yard line. So that is where Hallsville will start with it. Their own 35-yard line, the exact same starting spot as their last possession.
Second straight punt that took a Hallsville bounce there, so we'll see what Braden Matheny's offense are able to do with better field position, maybe around the same as where they were on the second drive, but certainly better than the first drive where they were backed up inside their own 10. So we'll see what the game plan is here for Hallsville.
Yeah, and, the offense, it's, looked a little shaky, but we'll have to see if that changes here. Braden Matheny back under in shotgun. He takes the snap. He's looking left side. He throws to Stinson, who makes the completion. He's running out the left sideline and out at the 50-yard line for a 15-yard completion and a Hallsville first down.
That's what Hallsville has had success with on offense so far in this game. It's these short passes. It's not the run game. It's not throwing the ball downfield minus the Stinson catch. It's these short passes that are really working so far for Hallsville. So we'll look and try to see them continue to do that as this game moves on, and maybe that's how they're going to be able to move the ball down the field.
And under 3 minutes to go here in the first quarter in a 7-0 game, it seems like it's kind of just, melted away this clock so far.
That's what you get when you got one team that exclusively runs the football, Austin.
So here comes the snap. Matheny, nobody else in the backfield, a blindside sack. 3 Osage defenders on top of Braden Matheny as he's taken down at the 45 on Hallsville's side of things. And the last time that Hallsville had it at the 50-yard line, again, it was a sack. and they just can't quite get it into Osage territory right now.
And it looked like that might have been Aiden Williams in on the sack. Obviously, a trio of Osage defenders, but Williams already with the rushing touchdown in this first quarter, making a big contribution on defense now.
So now taking a look, it's Matheny with Abe Elfanish to his right side, 2 receivers on the left. Matheny rolls out right immediately. He's looking downfield. He gets the ball off, going deep, and incomplete to Xavier Stinson downfield. It was a very contested play. Could have been something, but it was slightly overthrown. So maybe a little bit lucky that it's just an incompletion right there. But it does bring up a 3rd and 15 now.
See, that's just not what you want to be trying to do if you're Hallsville, throwing these contested deep balls downfield. Xavier Stinson got turned around there. He didn't even know where the ball was, and he had 2 defenders in the vicinity. If this O-line keeps on collapsing, though, and letting pressure get to the quarterback, Matheny's going to have no other choice than throwing the ball up, and that's just not going to lead to a whole lot of success.
So now Matheny, again, the same formation as last time. He puts in motion Isaac Stinson, going from left to right. Matheny, he drops back in the pocket. He throws right side. Not looking for the pass was Isaac Stinson, and it's going to fall incomplete out the sideline to bring up 4th and 15, and yet another drive that appears like it's going to end up stalled out for Hallsville.
Yeah, Stinson was waiting until he was at the first down marker to turn around and look for that ball, but unfortunately Matheny just threw it a little bit too quickly, and Stinson wasn't able to get down there before he looked for the ball. If Stinson looked earlier, he might have been able to catch that ball a couple of yards short and then maybe work his way up near the first down line, but unfortunately it looks like it's going to be another punt.
So punt formation here, it's away from Matheny. A pretty good punt that time as it's picked up back at their own 16, but bringing this one up the field a little bit more, taking this one left sideline until he's taken out of bounds at, call it, the 31-yard line. And that one, it was a pretty good return from Isaac Stark, the junior.
Yeah, pretty good return there. Almost tackled there near the 20-yard line, but unfortunately was able to break the tackle and get a little bit more yardage. So Osage takes over again on their own 30-yard line.
So, yes, the ball was placed down at the 30-yard line. So, a 14-yard return from Stark as he gets the ball in a lot better starting position for Osage. So, the same formation coming back out here. Hallsville had success against it last time. They're loading up the defensive line as Maverick Trusty almost sacked, and he is sacked behind the line. Aiden Strodrowski broke through, and then the defensive line broke through after Trusty broke the sack. So going down, call it a loss of 2 yards, and brings up a 2nd and 12 from their own 28-yard line.
Yeah, a little bit of an odd-looking play from the start. It looked like Trusty faked to both of his running backs there in the backfield, and really a nice job by this defense to not fall for that, because every play so far in this game, Osage has run the football, but they weren't falling for it there. They knew the quarterback still had the ball, and they got to him quickly.
So a 2nd and 12 coming up, yet again the same formation. They have not moved out of this formation, and the pitch right side, and that one's Aiden Williams. He breaks one tackle, he's up, and goes out of bounds at, call it, the 38-yard line. The 37 is where they'll put him down at, and a pretty nice 9-yard carry for Aiden Williams, but it does still bring up a 3rd and 3.
Yeah, a little bit of Aiden versus Aiden there. It was Aiden Strodrowski of Hallsville trying to make that tackle, and Aiden Williams does a nice job of getting by him, but yeah, good job by the defense to prevent the first down, and now another big 3rd down coming up for Osage.
Yes, so at the 37-yard line, expecting the same formation. That is exactly what Hallsville will get. Only 4 defenders not on the defensive line now to stop the run and trying to get him down before crossing. And where will they call him down at? The carry went to Aiden Williams yet again, and it looks like they'll call him down just short of the first down, maybe half a yard, not even. So a 4th and inches coming up for Osage, and you can almost certainly expect them to go for this.
I was about to say, I don't think there's a doubt in anybody's mind in this entire stadium that Osage will be going for this. And what are they going to be doing, Austin? They're going to be running the football. That's their game plan. That's what they do. And all they need is less than a yard.
And just 1 carry from Maverick Trusty this season, so maybe they'll hand it off. And they do, up the middle, and just barely getting the first down there. It's Aiden Williams, but it is enough to move the chains. So it brings up a 1st and 10 for Osage from the 41-yard line on their own side.
I do have to say, despite Osage getting the first down there, I like the adjustments that this Hallsville defensive line has made so far. I mean, that first drive was a lot of explosive runs, and so far on these second and third drives, Osage is just not getting enough, not getting as much as they did on that first drive. So nice adjustments being made.
Well, the clock absolutely melting away as we just finish up the first quarter there. The clock runs to 0, so both teams heading to the sideline, getting a tad bit of a break here to make those adjustments, to make sure that they're ready for whatever. As, you know, the score right now at the end of one quarter, Osage 7, Hallsville 0, and this one seems like it's going to be a low-scoring game.
It seems low-scoring at the beginning of this game, and it's a little bit weird for Hallsville because a lot of Hallsville's games are so high-scoring. We're used to this high-scoring football. So, you know, how do they kind of adapt to this? It's a different type of situation. Osage, they're no stranger to low-scoring games. They were in a low-scoring game last week. Their offense only puts up 16 points a game. So does that kind of benefit Osage a little bit? I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, well, this is an interesting play style, and I know Hallsville, they like to work on different play styles, and while, yes, the results have been showing out shootouts recently, they have been working on the other type of football. They've been working on the defensive side of things. They've been working on the run game. They want to show off these things. So Hallsville's ready to show that they can compete right now. They haven't really had the ability to in recent games as they've just had to run up the score. But they're looking for a change of pace here, and against a team that has only run the ball so far this game, the run defense really looking a lot better than it has in previous weeks.
Yeah, well, Osage had a game earlier this season. It was actually their first game of the season where they had 0 pass yards in that entire game. So, I mean, they're on pace to match that and do that for the second time this season tonight. We'll see if they try to go and put the ball in the air. 1st down and 10 on the Osage 41. Osage with the football. Maverick Trusty in that same formation with 2 running backs in the backfield. Snap back to Trusty. He hands off to Colonius, who gets nothing. He's eaten up right near the line of scrimmage, maybe even behind the line of scrimmage. And that looks like it's going to be a loss of about 2 yards. It'll bring up 2nd down.
Yeah, and another great play from the Hallsville defensive line to really break through. And I love the way this defense has been able to adjust. And this is something we talked about in the pregame show. Was there going to be a change in formation? And well, he didn't really say it, but Coach Conyers was saying that they were working on a lot of different looks so that they could call adjustments without actually having to go through adjustments. So they looked at all of these different arrangements, and it looks like we're seeing that right now.
There is a receiver lined up on the right here, 2nd down and 12. Trusty keeps the ball and passes to DeP, who gets the ball and gets up near the 50-yard line and across the line for a 1st down. The first pass of the game for this Osage offense gets him a 1st down and gets him into Hallsville territory.
Well, you know, it took them until the second quarter, but they did finally throw the ball, and I think that's exactly what Osage wanted. They wanted to lull Hallsville to sleep, but to be fair, Hallsville played enough coverage to the fact where it did not burn them deep, and all that it resulted in was a 1st down. I like the way Hallsville's been playing recently.
1st down and 10 on the Hallsville 49. Ball handed off to Williams going up towards his left, and he doesn't get a whole lot there. Maybe 1 or 2 yards at most as he's eaten up by the Hallsville defensive line, who just continues to make adjustments. It'll be 2nd down and about 9 yards.
And he is going nowhere. The run game, again, just continuing to be stopped by Hallsville's defense. And I love to see it. I love what head coach Justin Conyers has been doing, and it has been working. And yes, they allowed the 1st down via the pass, but what they're doing right now, they should not stray away from it until Osage changes their offensive play style.
2nd down and 9 from the 48 of Hallsville. Trusty in the shotgun. He pitches it over to Williams. Williams to his left now cutting up the middle, and he's taken down near the 46-yard line, and only a gain of about 2 more yards. And that'll bring up 3rd down as this Osage run game starts to suddenly struggle a little bit.
And a fantastic tackle from Xavier Stinson right there, the senior linebacker for Hallsville, to wrap up Williams, who was running full speed. He had the space to accelerate, so to be able to stop him like that and really only get 2 yards from there, I thought he was going to get at least 4. So the way that Xavier Stinson was able to come in there and stop that, fantastic.
3rd down and 7 on the Hallsville 46-yard line. 9:48 left in the second. Pitch to Williams up the right. Finds a hole towards the sideline across the 45 up to the 40. And he takes it in for a 1st down up to about the 36-yard line of Hallsville. So Aiden Williams finding a hole there in the run game, working once again a 1st down for Osage.
Well, it worked there, but we haven't really seen it work consistently since Hallsville's, since that first drive, really. So while that one did break free, I want to credit Aiden Williams for that one. He was able to break some tackles. It looked like Hallsville was covering it well, but again, once in a while, it just breaks down.
First down and 10 for Osage on the Hallsville 36-yard line. Trusty under center, hands it off to Colonius, who cuts to his right, and he tries to get some more yards, but he's eaten up by Xavier Stinson once again on the tackle for Hallsville, maybe a gain of about 2 or 3, and it'll bring up second down.
Yeah, and yet another time of Hallsville coming back around, and they are just stuffing this line. Now, however, you see a 3-yard gain. If you get 3 consecutive 3-yard gains, that puts you up 4th and 1, and they're probably going for it. So while, yes, it seems to be working, they also do have to make sure that they aren't consistently letting this up. They have to be getting into the backfield.
Second down and 7 on the Hallsville 33-yard line. Trusty in the shotgun, gets it, hands it off to Williams, who goes up the middle near the 30-yard line, but he's taken down once again by this Hallsville defense, a pile up near the 31-yard line, and it'll be third down.
Yeah, and there we go. It's a 2-yard stop right there, only two yards gained. So 5 yards between 2 plays. You'd like to be seeing a little bit more. Now, big third down coming up right here. If Hallsville can stuff them at the line, cause an incompletion, or tackle them for a loss, then you're looking at a whole different situation than if they pick up those 2 or 3 yards.
Third down and 5 on the 31-yard line. Trusty under center, 2 running backs in the backfield, and it looked like Hallsville almost jumped off sides. No flag is thrown. And now the play is blown dead, and a timeout taken by Osage. So they will talk it over. That's their second timeout of the half, so they've only got 1 remaining with 7:56 to go.
Well, they know how important of a play this is, but to waste a timeout right there in this situation, that's a tough one. Because, I mean, now you've only got 1 timeout to go, and if it gets down to, a last-minute drive, especially with such a run-heavy game, you can't really run the ball, and then you're going to be forced into an unnatural position, an uncomfortable situation, and that's a little bit surprising to me to see Osage take that timeout right there. They better hope that they get their best out of this one. They better get the first down here, otherwise it will be looked upon potentially in the future as a wasted timeout.
Yeah, we may talk about this a little bit later on as this half dies down, and I was about to say, yeah, they better hope that this is a first down and that they make this timeout absolutely worth it, because it's not common that you see a team go into the final 5 minutes of a half with only 1 timeout remaining, but that's what we're going to see here for Osage.
Well, final 8 minutes to say that much.
And the final 8 minutes, and as you said, a very run-heavy offense, so that clock is just going to keep on running when they're on the field. So something we'll definitely have to monitor for sure. Meanwhile, 3rd and 5, ball on the 31-yard line of Hallsville. Trusty in the shotgun. He's got 2 running backs in the backfield, 1 receiver to the right. Trusty hands it off to Colonius, cutting to his right. He runs up the middle, and he is stopped just short of the first down line. And that'll bring up 4th down at near the 28-yard line.
Yeah, looks like they're going to call him down at the 27.5, about halfway between that 30 and the 25-yard line. So, well, maybe call it, the 28 exactly. So,
second-guess me there.
3 yards to gain. I did second-guess you. It looked like they were going to put it halfway between, and then they moved it back just a tad. So, nonetheless, a 4th and 3 coming up here. A huge 4th down for Hallsville.
Yeah, this is big right here. We'll see if Osage runs the football again. They've got 2 in the backfield, and it's a handoff to Williams, cutting to his right near the sideline. He's got room. He's got the first down, and he's pushed out of bounds near the 15-yard line, I believe. First down for Osage, and they're knocking on the door once again, trying to extend their lead. That's already 7-0.
Yeah, and a really good play call right there to run the stretch. I mean, you look at a 4th and 2, which is what it was. You're probably seeing a run up the middle. So Hallsville likely sending all their guys kind of around the middle. They're not looking at the edges because they need to stuff the running back. So a great play call to go to the stretch, to look to the outside, and it does end up picking up a pretty big gain.
First down and 10 for Osage on the Hallsville 15-yard line. Trusty in the shotgun, hands it off once again to Williams, who finds a hole, and he's got a hole into the end zone. Touchdown, flag on the field, so don't celebrate just yet. We'll see what the call is here. But as it stands, Williams into the end zone for his 2nd touchdown of the day.
And it looks like they might be calling holding here. That would be big if that is what it is.
The offense is heading back, and it will be holding on Osage.
Wow, what a turn of events right there. It looked like Osage just made it a 2-score game, but that just completely changes the outlook here. As it's going to bring up a first and 20 here. A crazy change in the way that this game is going to be played because, well, the way Hallsville's been stopping the run, 5 yards a game per carry, it would be tough.
First down and 20 from the Hallsville 25-yard line, and the ball is handed off to Colonius, but he goes down maybe behind the line of scrimmage. It looked like he might have ran into his own guy there.
Yeah, it looked like Aiden Williams accidentally tripped over himself and accidentally tackled his own guy right there, Jason Colonius. And, you know, sometimes that happens, and that is not the situation that you want that to be happening on, because now a 2nd and 20, you're needing to average over 7 yards per play in order to get a first down.
Yeah, you never want to miss communication on offense, but you especially don't want to miss communication when you've got 20 yards to go to the first down line. It'll bring up 2nd down and 20. A receiver to the right, 2 running backs in the backfield as usual. Trusty will fake the handoff, looking downfield. He throws it downfield and just overthrows his receiver. He was looking for John Kimry, but he threw it over his head.
Dane DePee had fallen down on the ground. It looked like he was the intended receiver, but he tripped. Fell down at the 10-yard line, and it went over to him. It looked like it was almost intercepted, to be fair.
It looked like Kimry did jump up for the ball. So the ball may have been intended for Dupree, but Kimry did jump up and maybe get a fingertip on that ball.
Yes. Yeah, that did seem like what it could have been, but a tough placed ball. And a 3rd and 20 here, and you can almost sell out for another pass play.
So a little bit of a different formation. There's 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Only 1 running back in the backfield. That's Williams. Snap back to Trusty. Pressure coming. Trusty throws, and it's overthrown. Looking for his receiver, Landon Childs. And it is incomplete, and it brings up 4th down.
Great pressure from Aiden Jodrowski right there, who comes across the line of scrimmage almost immediately. Pressures Maverick Trusty in the pocket, forces him a quick throw, and one that does end up being inaccurate. However, the kicking game from Osage has improved, and you're going to be seeing coming out for the field goal, likely, you're going to be seeing Brady Clark come out here, or
doesn't look
no,
like
it doesn't look like they're going to go for the field goal.
It looks like they're going to go 4th and 20. So 4th down and 20, a huge play, low snap back to Trusty. Trusty moves up in the pocket. He'll take it himself, and he's going to be taken down, and Hallsville's going to force a turnover on downs.
Wow, an interesting one right there. Now, a 40-yard field goal is difficult to get for a high school kicker. However, we have seen Brady Clark take field goals. Maybe that's a little bit out of his range, but on a 4th and 20 right there, I am a little bit surprised as to that play call right there, and that they wouldn't at least attempt the field goal right there. However, nonetheless, it is a turnover now, and Hallsville, they've got to get this offense rolling.
1st and 10 for Hallsville on their own 23-yard line. Snap back to Matheny. Matheny looking to his right, throwing near the sideline. That's Isaac Stinson, and he catches it at the 39-yard line, tackled out of bounds. That's another catch for Isaac Stinson. He's been a popular target so far, and it's a Hallsville 1st down.
Well, he's almost always a popular target, it seems to me. A 16-yard reception there. He had a 15-yard reception and a 40-yard reception earlier in the game as well. So he's been getting those chunk plays. He's been getting those big-time plays, which Hallsville has desperately needed, and that's something that they desperately need right now as well.
1st down and 10 once again for Hallsville. They move the ball all the way up to their own 39-yard line. And it looks like they'll stack receivers on the left side of the field. Matheny in the shotgun, Alphanish lined up in the backfield. Now the play is blown dead. And it appears a timeout on the play by Hallsville.
And Hallsville's first time out of the half allows them to get time to set up. And, well, heck, with the way that Osage has been playing this game, the next time that Osage gets a possession, it could very well lead to halftime.
It really could. I mean, this game is moving along very quickly, and it's what you expect to see when the ball is being ran so much as it is so far tonight. And I think it's just, again, it's still in my head that the fact that Osage only has 1 timeout left in this half. We'll see how that also kind of plays into effect, because that could be a factor next time Osage gets the ball. They may only have about 1 drive left to go, and we'll see if Hallsville can put up some points before that happens.
It also does depend on how long this Hallsville drive takes. Now, a lot of their plays their big plays are going to be passing plays, or ones that end up going out of bounds. They like to use those edges a lot. So maybe this clock doesn't drip away to, that 4 minutes or left, even if they do end up pushing down to the end zone and you could see Hallsville getting another possession here. Again, 6 minutes to go, so you never really know what could happen, but it is something to keep an eye out for.
First down and 10 on the 39-yard line. We'll see if Hallsville can try to get anybody else going besides Isaac Stinson. Snap back to Matheny, looking toward its left. Matheny over the middle, and it's Isaac Stinson again. Up across the 45-yard line, taken down near the 46, and that'll bring up second down and short.
To be fair, who really needs to get the others involved whenever Isaac Stinson is there getting 8 yards like that easily? I mean, another great reception, great route run by Isaac Stinson to create that much space, and he picks it up 8 yards. And if you're going to have that 1-2 punch of Isaac Stinson and Braden Matheny, you don't really need anyone else, but the rest of the players are pretty good as well.
Second down and 2 on the 47, handed off to Alphanish, and Alphanish is across up near the 50-yard line, close to the first down line. Might have been, yes, he got it. That's a first down, I believe, for Hallsville, and now they move the chains. First down for Hallsville, and Abe Alphanish with his first good run of the game.
Well, only 2 yards there, but that's all that they needed, and you know, on a 2nd and 2, you'll take that. You'll take that. Maybe a little bit surprised that Hallsville didn't go for the shot on a play like that, but at the same time, then you likely see Osage sell out for the run, and it makes it a lot more difficult to pick up those 2 yards.
First down and 10 on the 49-yard line. Snap back to Matheny. Matheny looking towards his left. He's throwing, and he's got Colton Nichols diving, and it's incomplete. He couldn't quite hold on. He had some room. Would have been a first down for Hallsville, but unfortunately, Matheny's throw was just out of the reach, and it'll bring up second down and 10.
And now a tough play to make right there, but in all honesty, I'm kind of surprised Colton Nichols didn't come up with that. He's made some pretty big plays this season. He's really athletic, but of course, he was a quarterback last year, still developing on the wide receiver front. So you can excuse a couple drops here and there. And again, I wouldn't even consider that one a drop. It is a tough play to make. It was one that had to be put, in the perfect spot. And it wasn't a bad throw from Matheny, but again, just had to be a good play from Colton Nichols.
Second down and 10 on the 49. Quick throw from Matheny to his right. He's got Isaac Stinson again near the 45-yard line of Osage before he's pushed out of bounds. And it'll be a third down and about 5 for Hallsville.
Yeah, and yet again, Hallsville continuing to push up the field through the air. And it does make for some fun football, I'll say that much. But on the 3rd and 4 right here, you really don't know where you're going to throw it, because you can throw deep, you can throw middle, you can throw short. You can throw left, you can throw middle, you can throw right. With the run game, you're really just going to run left, middle, or right. There isn't the 3 dimensions.
Matheny in the shotgun on 3rd and 4 on the 35. 3 receivers stacked up on the left. Matheny will throw the ball over the middle, and it's caught by Isaac Stinson up past the 35-yard line. I don't know how he was able to come up with that one. Lots of traffic in between Matheny and Stinson, but the ball got to Stinson. He's got another reception, and Hallsville's got another first down.
Well, a beautiful throw from Braden Matheny right there. I have no idea how he fit that through the defenders. Just perfectly diagnosed exactly where they were going to be, getting it through the middle and finding the receiver. And there was probably maybe an inch of wiggle room that he could have thrown that ball in order to get that as a completion.
First down and 10 for Hallsville on the Osage 33. Snap back to Matheny. Matheny looking towards his left. Pressure coming from his right, and he is tripped up and taken down, trying to get back to the line of scrimmage. He won't get there, so it'll go down as a sack for Osage, and it'll bring up second down.
Yeah, and a good sack there from Jason Colonius, who's been getting involved in this game, tripping up Matheny from the ankles and got him to fall down for that loss of 5 right there. And well, really, we've been seeing some good pressure tonight from Osage, and that's one thing that they're continuing to do, is to bring the pressure. Matheny, a guy that oftentimes can deal with the pressure, though, and we're going to have to see him continue to do that tonight in order for Hallsville to continue to look strong on offense.
Second down and 13 on the 36. The ball's handed off to Alphanish, but he's eaten up by the defensive line. And Hallsville's going to lose more yards on that play. It looked like Alphanish made it maybe back to the 38-yard line of Osage, and it'll bring up a third down and long.
Yeah, and yet again, I mean, Hallsville, they like to use the run play, but it doesn't really work right now whenever Osage is looking so good, and whenever they're sending so much pressure, they're really getting through well, and it's making it difficult for a guy like Abe Alphanish, who's a very talented running back. It's making it difficult for him to get anything going.
So third down and 14 on the 37. Snap back to Matheny. Matheny going towards his right. Pressure coming. Matheny will just throw it up, and it's caught once again by Isaac Stinson near the 20-yard line. Breaks a couple of tackles. He'll be taken down near the 22-yard line, still short of the line to gain. And 4th down and short, we'll assume that Hallsville goes for it here.
Yes, and I mean, Hallsville always like to go for it on 4th and short. And it does make for some exciting stuff here. And one of the big plays coming up on 4th and 4, Hallsville, they've been very good at converting on important downs recently. And this one, no different from some of the ones in the past.
So that ball actually only made it up to about the 27-yard line. 4th and 4 for Hallsville. Matheny in the shotgun. Looks towards his right, trying to make a quick throw, and he can't find Zach Giray. A little bit of a miscommunication maybe there on the route by Giray. And Hallsville turns it over on down. So Isaac Stinson really the only guy that's really been able to get it going so far for Hallsville. We're yet to see Colton Nichols and Zach Giray really make an impact on offense.
Well, Zach Giray right there, he did have the space to his right, but unfortunately it did seem like miscommunication. I'm not sure entirely on what caused the miscommunication. Maybe it was a poor route run. Maybe it was just a little bit of an early throw right there. Nonetheless, it does end up an incompletion, and now Hallsville's defense, they get back out here, and they're looking to stop that run yet again.
1st down and 10 on their own 27 for Osage, and it's handed off to Colonius, and he doesn't get a whole lot. He's eaten up by the defensive line. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage, but they might have lost a yard there, and with 1 timeout left for Osage, the clock runs under 2 minutes.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that they're not really running very quickly up there. With the time ticking down, it doesn't seem like they're in much of a hurry to run another play, and with only 1 timeout to go, it seems like they might be content with taking a 7-point lead into the half.
It's tough to be content considering this Hallsville offense is so explosive, but they haven't been so far in this first half. 2nd down and 11, pitch to Williams going towards his left, and he's taken down by the Hallsville defense around the 29-yard line of Osage, so only a gain of a couple, and it'll bring up a 3rd down and long. And now the clock stops, so it appears timeout has been called.
Well, now...
do we have an injury?
Now with this one, it does look like a timeout's going to be called. Hallsville takes this one, and with 1 minute and 30 seconds to go, maybe that's why they didn't seem in much of a hurry. They didn't trust their offense the way it's been running. You know, they haven't scored since that very opening drive. Been a lot of turnovers and deep in their own territory. Hallsville seems to want the ball back.
Yeah, Hallsville wants the ball back. I saw the play, or the clock stop, and my mind immediately went, who called that timeout? It would make a whole lot of sense if Hallsville did, and they did. And they want to get the ball back in the hands of their quarterback, Braden Matheny, and try to make something out of this game before halftime. Remember, the second half kickoff will be received by Osage. So Osage will get the ball to start the second half. Hallsville wants to have another opportunity to maybe try and tie up this game before halftime.
Well, we've seen Hallsville make some big plays before halftime before, but first off, they have to stop the run here. They have to stop Osage from being able to push up the field.
1:33 left in the first half. It'll be 3rd down and 8 for Osage on their own 29-yard line. 7-0 the score. Osage leads. They've been running the football a whole lot. Trusty, the quarterback, in the backfield, along with 2 running backs. Snap back to Trusty. He'll roll out to his right and throw. He's got DeP, and DeP drops it. DeP drops it. Clock stops. 4th down coming up with 1:29 left to go in the half, and it looks like Hallsville may get this football back.
And I hate to say it, but that does seem to be a bit of a bailout right there for Hallsville. It was a great throw to DeP, and a great play call to get the play action, to go there. You weren't really sure what was going to happen. Hallsville kind of selling out for the run. But now that you stop the clock even on the incompletion, it's going to give Hallsville an extra timeout to work with if they can force the turnover.
So Hallsville...
even just return this one a fair distance.
Isaac Stinson, who's been active in this first half, is back to return, and the snap is high and punted away by Osage. Isaac Stinson will go back for this ball, and the ball will drop down near the 20-yard line. Stinson takes it up across the 25. He's run into near the 27-yard line and taken down at about the 27-yard line. So a good job by Osage to pin Hallsville back inside their own 30-yard line, and 1:16 to go. Also a good punt there to make Stinson go back.
And Kimmery's been really good this season at punting. 42 yards per punt is not something you often see from a high school footballer, but you saw it right there, a really good punt, being able to push Hallsville back. But nonetheless, they have 1:16 to go on a pass-heavy offense. Definitely could see something happen here. Don't turn away just yet.
Ball spotted down at the 28-yard line. So 1st and 10 for Hallsville from their own 28-yard line. 1:16 left. Hallsville with one timeout trying to get on the board for the first time tonight. Matheny in the shotgun. Snap back to him. Matheny looking to throw. He goes deep down the sideline looking for Colton Nichols, and it's just out of his reach.
Pass interference was called on that one, as getting caught up in the coverage was Landon Childs.
Indeed, flag down on the play, and it appears to be pass interference as the defense, of Osage has no answer there for Colton Nichols.
Well, Colton Nichols runs his route
It's called on the offense, Austin.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
So it looks like
I did not see the flag on that. An interesting call right there.
So it is pass interference, but it's pass interference on Hallsville.
And that surprises me. It looked to me like it was pulling back on Colton Nichols. Landon Childs got caught up with Nichols as Nichols had the speed on him. But nonetheless, the call is going to be offensive pass interference. So, I mean, that does surprise me a little bit. That does surprise me. But now Hallsville, they're going to be working from further back, but they're still going to be probably trying to take a shot here.
So not a good start to this drive for Hallsville, but they still got 1:10 to work with. 1st down and long, and the snap back to Matheny. Matheny has pressure coming, rolls out to his right. Matheny throwing up the field near the sideline. Catch made by Nichols, who breaks his tackle at the 30-yard line and works a couple more yards up to the 32 before he's taken down. And a nice play by Colton Nichols, and Hallsville moving the ball. Clock runs inside 52 seconds left in the half.
Yeah, and now Hallsville's going to have to work quick to see if they can push this further up.
Clock still running. 3 receivers stacked on the left on 2nd down and 5. Matheny in the shotgun. He gets the ball, rolls to his left, looking downfield. He's going to go over the middle, and that ball's almost picked off. The intended target was Colton Nichols, but that throw was a little bit off. It was almost picked off by John Kimmery. And it'll be 3rd down and 5. Clock stops at 35 seconds to go in the first half.
And a little bit of an off-center throw there from Braden Matheny, but really good pocket presence and some great protection on the pass blocking from the offensive line of Hallsville right there. A shout out to them on giving him the time to throw that downfield. It ended up being incomplete, but I mean, if it weren't for that offensive line, that play could have ended very differently.
So it'll be a 3rd down and 5 for Hallsville on their own 33-yard line. 35 seconds to go in the first half. Matheny in the shotgun, 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Matheny looking to his left. He throws it towards Isaac Stinson, but it's incomplete. And that'll bring up 4th down and 5 with 31 seconds to go in the first half.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me to see Hallsville going for this 4th and 5. Yes, they're deep in their own territory, but recently they haven't really been even threatened by Osage's run game or by their offense at all. So going for this one wouldn't be a huge surprise. Plus, it gives them still the opportunity to push even further down the field, and they still have 1 timeout.
If Osage gets the ball back, they're in pretty good position to try to put some points on the board, and it looks like the ball will be punted away by Matheny. The punt is in the air, and it lands near the 37-yard line and takes a hop out of bounds. And Osage will have 24.7 seconds left to try to make something happen, or maybe just take this to halftime and be satisfied with a 7-0 lead and getting the ball back to start the second half.
Based on what happened, well, I was just proven wrong right there. So what is it my job to make any guesses right there? I thought Hallsville was going to go for it. Did surprise me a bit that they didn't go for that. And I was about to say that I think Osage is going to kneel it out based on what we saw on the previous possession that they had, but. As was just proven, I've been wrong before, so be on the lookout for really anything to happen here.
So Austin Thomas has given up trying to predict the plays from up here in the press box. 1st down and 10 on Osage's 38-yard line. Snap back to Trusty, and they're going to pass the ball. Trusty rolling to his right, and he's going to take a deep shot down the field, and a flag on the play. Pass interference is going to be the call on Hallsville. So Osage just threw the ball up there, and they drew a penalty. So still some life here for Osage with 16 seconds to go in the half.
And I believe that one called on Dalvin Smith in coverage right there. And again, just another tough play, and one that really didn't look like that much of a catchable ball. I am surprised that they called it a catchable ball. Nonetheless, again, that is the call here, and Hallsville is going to have to keep working for it.
I think that might have been Peyton Schlueter there, number 8, who was flagged for pass interference. I mean, he just did not make an attempt to go for the ball, and it's just not what you want to see. Luckily, the ball still at the 47-yard line. Now on the Hallsville side of the field, however, so first down and 10, 16.8 seconds left to go. Snap back to Trusty, who throws up to DeP near the sideline, and he reaches for the first down. Might have come up just short, but he gets out of bounds, and the clock stops at 13.7.
Clock does stop. They still have one timeout to go, though. So, and I mean, the offense, the passing game has really picked up, especially since they've kind of had to turn away from the run game, and the offense looks completely different right now. Hallsville will have to adjust here, but, you know, for the second half, we'll talk about the second half when it gets to the second half. But, again, I don't think you can expect the pass offense to stay like this for the second half.
Second down and 2 on the Hallsville 39. Trusty gets the ball. He's going to take a shot downfield near the end zone. It is incomplete. Pass intended for DeP, just out of his reach near the goal line. And with 7 seconds to go in the half, it'll be third down and 2 for Osage.
And that was dangerous right there, right out the tips of his fingers. Barely missing on that throw. And, well, I thought that could have been a 2-score game right there, but a huge chance now for Osage to come up again. They've still got, you know, a couple plays left, plus the final timeout that they haven't used. So
yeah, they've got that timeout left, so we'll see what they try to do here. As Trusty is in the shotgun, he starts to roll to his right, then hands the ball off to Williams, and Williams has room. He's near the 30, the 25, to the 20. Clock running out. He's taken down near the 12-yard line, but it looks like time in the half ran out. So a big run for Williams, but time runs out in the first half, and Osage moves the ball but is unable to score before halftime, and we go into the break with the score remaining 7-0.
yeah, and, you know, that one, an interesting drive from Osage, maybe getting bailed out a little bit by the fact that Hallsville had sold out for the run, and it looks like
there's a flag on the field, and Hallsville's coaches are telling the players to head to the locker room. Osage has their players still on the field. It looks like the half has come to an end. I believe I'm not sure what we got there, actually. I don't know what I believe.
Yeah, something against Hallsville happened right there. Not entirely sure exactly what it is.
I mean, what flag is Hallsville taking after time has already run out?
I'm not sure. I am not certain at all, but both teams are cleared off now.
My best guess is that Hallsville had either players or coaches leak onto the field, and they were flagged for that reason.
That might have been it, but I am not entirely certain what happens. Nonetheless, it is halftime here at Osage. Osage leads 7-0 over Hallsville. Definitely not the game that I was expecting, and probably not a lot of people were expecting. But this is the result that we have. Hallsville's defense has looked the part pretty well here. They've been able to stop the run, but the offense has struggled a little bit. No points so far for them. But we're going to talk a little bit more about that during the halftime show. So we're going to head to a quick break. But when we come back, we're going to be talking more on the Hallsville Indians halftime report. You're listening to the Show Me Sports Network. If you're watching online on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss any of our broadcasts in the future. Or if you want to take a look back at some of our previous broadcasts that we've had, make sure to do that as well. Now, if you're listening on our app or online, remember, we have an app on either the App Store or the Google Play Store, so you can listen to that live from wherever you are. We broadcast all of Hallsville's football games and Southern Boone County if you want to listen into those as well. But nonetheless, that is going to do it for us until the halftime report coming up after this on the Show Me Sports Network.
Since 2018, Han Custom Laser Engraving LLC has been specializing in all things custom, using large format, high-powered lasers with some of the most advanced technologies on the market. Anything can become a canvas. This state-of-the-art system makes quick work of custom engraving on cups, glass, tile, wood, acrylic, metal, headstones with endless possibilities. They also offer custom one-of-a-kind signs that are sure to make your design stand out. Find them on Facebook at Han Custom Laser Engraving or call 573-489-8732 to to find out more. Han Custom Laser Engraving LLC, a veteran-owned business.
At Hallsville School District, our educators do more than just teach. Lives are being shaped for the future before they even enter a classroom. For students to succeed, it takes an entire district-wide team. Join Hallsville School District's team today, now offering competitive salaries and benefits for all positions. Visit hallsville.org and click on the employment link under Our District tab.
Attention Indians fans, here's your chance to help the student athletes of Hallsville by becoming a member of the Hallsville Athletic Boosters. Your gifts help provide all Hallsville athletes with a safe and positive experience while attending our school district, and also help purchase items that our sports team couldn't otherwise afford. You can join the Hallsville Athletic Boosters this season for as little as $25. Membership is open to everyone. Interested in joining? Look them up on Facebook by searching Hallsville Athletic Boosters or email them at hallsvilleathleticboosters@gmail.com. Let's go Indians!
Last Sentinel Firearms is your federally licensed and registered Type 7 FFL manufacturer dealer in Missouri, providing quality products to all types of sports enthusiasts, law enforcement, and individuals across the nation. Orders are currently being fulfilled, offering custom-built pistols and rifles from the AR platform made right here in Missouri. Visit their website at lastsentinelfirearms.com or call them at 417-684-7202 to find out what they've got for you. Last Sentinel Firearms, you are your last line of defense.
Hi, I'm retired Army Sergeant Trent Dirks, and I want to tell you about an organization that saved and changed my life forever. Retrieving Freedom provides highly trained service dogs to veterans with disabilities and children with autism, absolutely free of charge, thanks to the generous donations and support from people just like you. Experts from Retrieving Freedom help throughout the entire process, from fostering programs through service dog placement. Freedom gave me the skilled service dog Tracer, who has been my best friend and my lifeline. To find out more about how you can get involved, volunteer, foster, or to donate, visit their website, retrievingfreedom.org. Retrieving Freedom, changing lives through the training and placement of service dogs for veterans with disabilities and children with autism.
Creating custom, handcrafted woodworking projects has never been easier. Become a member of Sawdust Studios and enjoy 24/7 access to a woodworker's paradise. Outfit with industry-leading professional-grade tools, Sawdust Studios offers endless woodworking possibilities. Don't have woodworking experience? No problem, as Sawdust Studios offers affordable classes from a community of woodworkers, experienced designers, and master craftsmen. Youth classes are also offered for those junior woodworkers. For more information, search Sawdust Studios on Facebook or find them online at sawdust247.com. Sawdust Studios, your community woodshop.
Hello, Blake Gazaway here with the Show Me Sports Network. I've had the opportunity to have some amazing calls, including overtime touchdowns, walk-off home runs, and buzzer-beating baskets. But I've answered another call. That's to serve my community as a volunteer firefighter. Stop and think what would happen if your home or property caught fire and no one was there to put it out. Every day, volunteer firefighters not only save lives and property, but also respond to other emergencies. Nearly 2/3 of our nation's fire departments are manned by volunteer firefighters. And because of this, we simply need more volunteers to step up and answer the call. Stop by or contact your local fire department and see how you can become a volunteer firefighter today. I answered the call to serve my community. Will you?
In today's world, injury prevention is at the top of everyone's list. However, heat-related occurrences get routinely overlooked. Zealous WBGT puts that front and center. By using cutting-edge formulas and technology, Zealous WBGT streamlines and simplifies obtaining and documenting wet bulb globe temperature readings. With a simple touch of a button, you can check WBGT anywhere in the world, receiving alerts when the WBGT goes over the threshold you select. Join the stress-free way to protect student-athletes, employees, and overall operations from extreme heat by downloading the free Zealous WBGT app today. Save time, save money, save lives with Zealous WBGT.
And welcome back into the Hallsville Indians on the Show Me Sports Network. I'm Austin Thomas, joined once again by Ian Paprocki. And, you know, it's been interesting because we haven't really had a lot to talk about at halftime. It feels like every game it's always, you know, a lot of touchdowns, a lot of points that are being scored. Today, it's been all about the defense.
Yeah, a little bit of a different vibe since last time that I was on air with you, Austin, back 2 weeks ago against Grandview, where Hallsville had, 34 points in the first half, and I believe 34 points in the first half, and 0 in the first half tonight. So just a very different vibe to this football game. Only an hour long of a first half, so that's something you don't see a whole lot of. And really, I think what Hallsville has to be happy about, though, is the way that their defense responded after that first drive. Osage ran the ball really well. Aiden Williams had the long touchdown run. And to be honest with you, after I saw that first drive, I thought, wow, this could get out of hand really quickly in the wrong direction. And after that, I mean, Hallsville was lights out on defense. They really adjusted to the run game. So it'll be interesting to see in the second half, do they continue to adjust to that, and what kinds of adjustments do the offense make? Because this offense, I mean, they're used to putting up 40, 50 points on the board week in and week out so far this season, and they laid a goose egg there in the first half. So definitely a lot of interesting storylines to talk about and to watch as we go towards the second half.
Yeah, and I'm going to be honest, I was on the same thought process as you. Early on, whenever that very first drive from Hallsville, it stalled out early on, and they kept getting tackled for loss. And then the defense allowed the very first drive of Osage to end in a big play touchdown. And I was like, uh-oh, this might not be good. The defense has struggled in previous weeks, but they really locked down after that. They really used their momentum and were able to keep stopping Osage. But it does take a lot, time after time of being punched in the gut with the run game over and over again. That can tack on onto the guy's stamina. Now, I know one of the things that Coach Conyers said is they want to be one of the best stamina teams in the state. And that's going to be something that they have to show in this second half. Because if they do not have the stamina, they won't be able to continue playing as good defense against that run as they were able to in the first half after that first first drive.
But you have to be encouraged with the way their stamina looked there in the second quarter. I mean, that's a good start. And now they have this halftime break to rest and regroup and come out 100%, try to come out of the locker room a little bit stronger than they did in the first half when they allowed that first touchdown drive. But, yeah, credit to Hallsville, their defense, for being able to stay in this game and not be beaten down and worn out by the strong and quick run game that Osage possesses.
Yeah, no, and to be fair as well, I think when you look at, everything overall from that half, you got to also look at the offense. I think you got to look at the offense and wonder what is going on with that. Because the offense, they're scoring 45 points per game. Heading into this one, they faced some good competition in the past, yet nonetheless, here they are, and they haven't scored a single point. This is the first half that they have been completely shut out in any of their games. And it's not something that you expected, and it's not something that is a good look on the team. And I'm certain this is probably the first time that they go into halftime, and they're trying to figure out the offense. That's their focus right now, is the offense. In previous weeks, they're always focused on defense, but right now, they've got to work on what they're going to do offensively to get some points on the board.
Yeah, I think the main thing for me watching this team in the first half is the run game, and Abe Alfaniche not really being able to find a whole lot of success running the football. And this is a pass-heavy offense. We all know that. We all know it's a much more pass-heavy offense than your average mid-Missouri high school football team, right? But the run game has to be working for this Hallsville team to work. And so far, Abe Alfaniche really has only been able to get, I think, within 10 rushing yards, below 10 rushing yards in that first half. So it's about getting the passing game going a little more as well. But I think until that run game really starts to be a factor, I mean, Osage is just going to be ready for the pass, and they're going to be able to shut it down. And that's what happened in the first half. They were able to shut down that pass game really well. So we'll see how maybe Abe Alfaniche and this running game of Hallsville is able to adjust and try to make some improvements for the second half.
Yeah, and you talk about Abe Alfaniche, but one of the things that we also haven't seen has been that seemingly iconic jet sweep that we like to see from Colton Nichols coming across around the backfield and taking one of those. We really haven't seen that here tonight. So looking forward to seeing if that will pick up, if they will turn to using that, which is going to allow Colton Nichols to have the ball in his hands and work with it. He's struggled to get involved today, and that's not something we've really seen in the past. So maybe trying to focus on different ways to get him involved. We're going to have to see what kind of offensive adjustments are made, and to be honest, I'm not exactly sure what's going to change from this offense, but yes, I do know that the run game does need to step up.
Yeah, I mean, it really does, and I think the biggest key, though, for this Hallsville team is to have their defense keep them in the game. And it's not something that they have, seen a lot of this year where they're relying on their defense to keep them in the game. It's been the offense to kind of keep pace with the amount of points scored in the game. So we'll see if the defense can really contain the run game of Osage. And on the other side, we'll see if Hallsville can get the run game going.
Well, for those of you who are listening in right now and are wondering what those loud bangs are, they are having a fireworks show right now on the sideline. It's homecoming for Osage and a lot of loud fireworks. So apologies for that one, but again, it is a pretty cool display here.
It really is, yeah.
Well, it does show again how cool going to a high school football game can be as a fan, as a player, being able to look up at that now as a broadcaster. Of course, yeah. Well, I mean, you get to see, everyone having a good time out here. Now, football teams are in their locker rooms right now. They're discussing, what's this second half going to look like? And I think that is the big question that's on everyone's mind. And we're not prophets. We don't know exactly what's going to happen here in the second half. But we can take some good predictions. And one of my predictions right here is going to be the fact that Osage, they're going to throw the ball some more. They looked pretty good throwing the ball there at points at the end of the first half. I think they're going to have to use that to their advantage to be able to spice things up a little bit.
Yeah, I really think they will as well. And we kind of saw them throw the ball a little bit more in the game they played last week, and as opposed to their first few games of the season. And really, it was the second quarter that we kind of saw that start to take effect. The first quarter of this game, Osage didn't have any passing yards, and we started to see them throw the ball a little bit more in the second quarter as the run game was shut down. So it'll be interesting to see what their strategy is right out of the locker room for sure.
Yeah, and, taking a look into the second half, well, before we do that, actually, let's go take a look back at some of the key players from tonight's game so far. I mean, we always like to do this during our halftime show. Get a little bit of who is your favorite player from Hallsville's offense in that first half right there? Who do you think was the biggest playmaker?
For me, I think it's a pretty easy decision. Isaac Stinson, I mean, he's all over the field. He has a lot of receptions already. He's been quick in all parts of the field. He had a nice big catch on the very first drive of the game. It ran a lot of slants over the middle of the field for catches as the game progressed. And, I mean, he's been the go-to guy for Braden Matheny so far in this game, and he hasn't disappointed really at all. So, for me, it's Isaac Stinson.
Yeah, and that one's a good one for me, and I'm going to have to stick with the same one with you right there. I think that he's looked really good, and while I could go with a guy like Xavier Stinson, who's also been pretty good on his own accord, he's been making plays, he's been good at blocking, and I could also go with some of the guys on the O-line. I just feel like none of them have really stepped up quite like Isaac Stinson has in such a void of offensive production right now. He has been able to kind of anchor everyone down and keep emotions up there to allow them to kind of keep that momentum where it needs to be. Looking at the defensive side of things, I mean, it has really just been the constant blitzing and the constant pressure from Osage for me. And one of that's got to come from Drake Williams. We saw him get a sack earlier in the game. One of the key linebackers for Osage. He's been great at helping create some pressure for Osage there.
Yeah, I think my, defensive first half MVP would also go to Drake Williams in there with the sack. He's been in on a lot of pressures. I thought John Kimmery, the senior outside linebacker, also looked good for Osage in that first half as well.
Yeah, well, taking a look now at kind of the other side of the field, whenever the other teams are out there, Hallsville's defensive players, it's been a tough one to look at, but Xavier Stinson, again, for me, I'm gonna have to turn to him. Could also go to Aiden Strodrowski. He's made some big plays as well, but Xavier Stinson always out there, always a good middle linebacker for Hallsville.
Yeah, I think I'll stick with the Stinson brother connection here on my picks for the first half MVPs. I liked Xavier Stinson. I thought he had a couple of really strong tackles there in that first half. I thought the defensive line actually was a big part of stopping that run game. I thought you could look at all of those guys, Tyson Perigo, Tucker Cates. I thought those two guys looked very good. And, overall, though, I think Hallsville still wants their defense to be just a little bit better.
Yeah, and when you look at the offense now from Osage, who is your standout player?
Yeah, well, I think for Osage so far, it has to be Aiden Williams, right? I mean, he's been all over the place. When he's been able to find a hole, he's been absolutely explosive, and we saw it in the long touchdown run. We saw it in a couple of other plays, though, too. I mean, including that last play of the first half that, unfortunately for Osage, they ran out of time and the clock stopped. But that was another play from Aiden Williams where, I mean, his explosiveness and his speed has been a real factor for this team when he's on the field.
Yeah, and while you say Aiden Williams, I actually want to give a shout out to, to be fair, it's hard to gauge this, but I want to give a shout out to the whole offensive line from Osage. They did have a couple times where they had lapses, but they've been pretty good at giving Maverick Trusty some time in the pocket when he needed to throw late in the first half, and they also opened up quite a few gaps for Aiden Williams to find and for Jason Colonius as well. Now, of course, it didn't look as good later on, but that is also because of how much pressure Hallsville was bringing. When you know it's going to be a run, there's only so much that an offensive line can do. But early on, I think that it would have gone to the offensive line for me, so a shout-out to them, especially with 3 underclassmen out of the 5 on that.
Yeah, it's a very young offensive line.
Yeah, and very impressive. Levi Park, a freshman, Caleb Smitherman, a sophomore, and Grant Wilson, a sophomore. And then they've got junior Nick Dole and then senior Peyton Havner. So, looking at that offensive line, it's impressive to me what they've shown. Any last thoughts before we close out the halftime show here?
Yeah, well, I want to build a little bit just off that last comment you made about the offensive line. I think that the run game for Osage was so good last year, and their struggles this year with the 1-4 record kind of relate to this offensive line. The run game, I mean, not being quite as dominant, and I think that maybe has something to do with the youth of this offensive line and kind of adjusting to the speed of the game at the varsity level. But so far tonight, I agree, they're doing a very nice job.
Well, to take a look at real quick a couple other scores that might be of notice, Boonville versus California. Boonville's got 21, California's only got 14. Southern Boone against Eldon, a blowout in the happening. Southern Boone up 41-13. If you want to tune into that game, you can switch on over to one of the other channels here on the Show Me Sports Network, onto the main network, or onto one of the other videos if you're watching on YouTube. So 2 pretty big games that have been going on right there, and maybe a little bit unexpected there, but nonetheless, that's a real quick update on some of the scores from around the area. Nonetheless, we're going to head to a quick commercial break, and when we come back, the second half will be beginning for the Hallsville Indians as they take on Osage here at Osage Beach in Missouri. You're listening to the Show Me Sports Network and Hallsville Indians football coverage.
Running out of some of your favorite Avon products and haven't seen an Avon brochure in quite some time? No need to worry. Avon Independent Sales Representative Michelle Carty can help with your Skin So Soft makeup, jewelry, fragrance, and skincare needs. Avon now carries cleaning supplies, clothing, daily essentials, and several small LG electronic items. You now have the opportunity to shop online 24/7 and have your order shipped directly to your front door by shopping with Michelle at mcarty.avonrepresentative.com or find her on Facebook by searching Avon Carty.
At the Boone County Journal, we're with you all the way. We know that you're more than just a subscriber. You're an employer, you're a parent, you're a neighbor. Most importantly, you're a community member. It's our goal to provide you with the latest news, sports, opinions, obituaries, classifieds, and more to keep you informed about your community. To find out more about the Boone County Journal or to subscribe, call 573-657-2334 or visit bocojoe.com. The Boone County Journal. We're with you all the way.
Buffs RV is your locally owned and operated RV dealership in Festus, Missouri. We've been in business since 1972, with several of our employees having over 30 years experience each in the industry. We strive to put customer satisfaction first and foremost. Buffs RV has a well-stocked parts inventory with our main focus on our service department. Call us at 636-937-9183 or stop by and see us at 2085 US 67 in Festus. Whether you need advice, parts, or service, and everything in between, Buffs RV, where your adventure awaits.
At Centurion Cares, for more than 3 decades, their focus has been on exceeding customer expectations for contact center software solutions. Their innovative communication solutions include utility interactive voice response software that allows for smart communication features that let your utility deliver superior customer service 24/7. They also provide other streamlined services like automatic call distribution, automated customer callback, reporting, and quality assurance. To find out more about how Centurion Cares can help your business, call them at 727-421-5300 or look them up online at centurioncares.com. Centurion Cares, innovative communication solutions.
There's no better way to celebrate a special event or show someone just how important they are to you than gifting them something handcrafted from Country with a Heart. Handmade in mid-Missouri, Country with a Heart specializes in hand-built woodworking projects for every occasion. Their design collection includes children's furniture, doll furniture, household items, holiday decor, outdoor decorations, custom projects, and everything in between. To view their full inventory of projects, visit countrywithaheart.com and find them on Facebook by joining the Country with a Heart group page.
The following public service announcement is brought to you by the Eddie Gaedel Society, Jefferson City Chapter 10, doing little things to make a big difference.
Want to make a big difference in your community? Be kind to others, drive safely, and put litter in its proper place.
Join us in celebrating Eddie Gaedel's historic Major League appearance as a member of the St. Louis Browns by doing something nice for someone today.
Take a walk, Eddie.
Welcome back into the Hallsville Indians football coverage. We've got 2 minutes to go until the second half begins, and it is turning out to be a very exciting game and one that's been a lot different from some of the other games that we've seen. Absolute shootouts. It's interesting to see a different game here, and I'm excited to see the second half.
Yeah, it's different for us, and it's different for Hallsville. However, it's not different for Osage. Osage has been a school and a team this year that's played a lot of lower scoring games. They've been used to not putting as many points on the board, but they've been used to their defense holding their opponents to low scores, and that's what they've done so far with this Hallsville offense. An explosive offense has been held to 0 points in the first half. So, really an interesting situation that we have unfolding here in Osage Beach as we get set to go. 7-0 Osage going into the second half. Yeah, it's been an interesting game. It's been a fast-moving game as well.
Yes, it has, and well, it's probably going to continue moving fast as it is Osage that will start the second half with the ball. So up 7-0, they're likely going to turn back to the run game a little bit, but one of the things that I said at the halftime show was the fact that I think that Osage will turn to the passing game a little more. It seemed to be working a little bit better than maybe you would have expected at the end of the first half, and the way that the run game was being stuffed outside of the very first possession that they had, it seems like they're going to need to switch things up, and I think if they get a little bit more to the passing game, this game could turn a little bit here. Hallsville's going to have to be ready.
Yeah, they turned to it more in the second quarter than they did in the first quarter. Not a lot of passing in the first quarter, really at all. For Osage, I believe they had 0 passing yards in the first quarter. In the second quarter, they went to it a little more. So we'll see if they stick with it as they did in the second quarter, or if they try to go to it even a little bit more, as this Hallsville defense has really kind of found an answer for the running game of Osage so far.
Yeah, and the clock now at 0 as the teams are in their huddles. They're getting ready to break and head out onto the field. So, I mean, this one will be a fun one to watch. This one, again, if you're listening online, you can watch us on YouTube at Show Me Sports Network. Hit that subscribe button if you aren't already subscribed so that you don't miss out on any of our broadcasts all year long. We're broadcasting all of the Hallsville football games this season, and we're also broadcasting a lot of Southern Boone as well if you want to take a listen or look into that. And if you're watching online and you're going for a drive or something, you can't watch us, but you want to listen, make sure to download the Show Me Sports Network app on the Google Play Store or on the Apple App Store. We're available on both, or you can listen to us online at showmesportsnetwork.com. But nonetheless, second half about to begin. Let's get ready for this one.
Teams on the field ready to go. Isaac Stark is back deep for Osage to receive the kickoff, and away we go in half number 2, and the kick rolls out of bounds. Flag flies, and Osage will start on their own 35-yard line.
Yes, they will. And, well, I'm honestly a little bit surprised we haven't seen an onside kick yet from Hallsville. They like to do that a lot. Then again, they haven't had too many kickoffs to go here as, no points to go, but 2 attempts on the kickoffs and nothing to go just yet.
As we have a second here while teams get set up, I do want to mention not a whole lot of flags so far in this game in the first half. We'll see if that changes, but so far pretty well-disciplined football being played by both sides.
Well, that's going to be a little bit of a difference from the last 2 weeks. The last 2 weeks, it's been a ton of flags on Hallsville, so must have been something that they're looking into and playing a little more disciplined right now. Again, could also just, a lot of times it is a judgment call from referees, so a different referee group could give you different calls. So maybe that's a little bit what it is, but nonetheless, it is nice to see.
First down and 10, handoff to Williams. Williams going to work his way up across the 40-yard line where he's taken down a gain of about 5, and it'll be second down for Osage.
And that one was the tight ends right there for Osage that were really able to push open a gap. They lined up on the right edge and created some space for Aiden Williams to kind of just rumble through.
So second down and 5 as the clock ticks. 11:30 to go in the third quarter. Ball on the Osage 40-yard line as they get set to go here. It's sophomore quarterback Maverick Trusty in the shotgun. A receiver to the right, 2 running backs in the backfield, as has been the case. And the snap back to Williams finds a little bit of a hole, but then he's taken down near the 38-yard line, so it'll be a third down. A nice tackle made there by Abe Alfanish.
Yeah, and again, the run defense, they know what they're looking for at this point. So just being able to get through to that, it does seem like Osage is still going to be able to pick up 2 a carry every time they run the ball, though. So not the position they really want to be in here. So a big play is going to be needed from Hallsville in order to stop Osage from getting that first down coming up here on 3rd and 3.
Well, they're going to need 3 here on third down. Ball on the Osage 42-yard line. Trusty in the shotgun. Trusty hands it off to Williams. Williams charges up the middle, and it looks like he has just enough as he crosses the 45-yard line of Osage. And he will have a first down. So the first set of downs for Osage is a success, and they have a first down.
Yep, and that's exactly what Osage just needs to do. They just need to work on running that ball. However, as soon as Hallsville gets set back in place, as soon as they're able to kind of stuff up that run, as they were able to do in the first half, I think Osage is going to have to start looking to that pass a little more.
First down and 10 for Osage on their own 46-yard line. A receiver to the right, 2 running backs in the backfield. Trusty in the shotgun. Snap to his right. He bobbled it and just has to fall down on it. So that's going to be a loss on the play. The snap was low and a little bit to the right of Maverick Trusty. He got a hand on it and kept it in front of him, but not able to make much more out of that play.
Yeah, and another tough play right there. Brings up a 2nd and 14. And, well, as I mentioned, the passing game right now, it seems like this is the time where they're going to start putting it in a little bit more into overdrive into the passing department.
Yeah, on that first drive in the first half, the run game seemed automatic, but automatic no more as this Hallsville defense has adjusted. Second down and 14 for Osage on their own 42-yard line. Ball handed off to Colonius, who is met right near the line of scrimmage. It's going to be a loss of yards on the play. A fantastic job done by the Hallsville defensive line, and it'll bring up third down and long.
And that's exactly what Hallsville needed to kind of change momentum right there. It seemed like, Osage had kind of been running over them like they were in the first drive, but, well, they've started to put down their foot a little bit. They say no more here, and that one, a change of momentum. Despite the fumble earlier, that wasn't really Hallsville's fault. That was more of a mistake on Osage. But this one was because Hallsville was able to get in there, and it was on Hallsville that they were able to stop this. They can use this as a huge pride moment.
Third down and 16 for Osage on their own 40-yard line. Snap back to Trusty. He looks to throw. Pressure coming from the right. Pass downfield, and it is nearly picked off by the Hallsville defense. That was Zach Jure in on the pressure, but he breaks up the pass, and it brings up 4th and long.
Well, in all honesty, I mean, it's a tough catch to make right there, but it seemed like Zach Jure turned back to his offensive form. He thought he was the receiver right there. He jumped up, and I'm honestly a little bit surprised he didn't catch that. It was really good positioning from him. But nonetheless, a 4th and 16 coming up here. They're going to have to punt this one away. So a big possession from Hallsville's defense, and they are going to be happy about the result of that one.
Yeah, Osage got a first down pretty quickly on that drive, but they were able to get nothing else from that. Isaac Stinson is lined up near his own 20 to return the punt. The snap is bounced, and it's a line drive punt that rolls near the 25, now back towards the 20. Stinson will let it go, and it settles down and is picked up by the Osage players right near the 18-yard line or so, marked around the 17 or the 18. So Hallsville will have it fairly deep in their own territory to start their first drive of the second half.
Well, I don't think that was intentionally a line drive kick, but ending up being that, it seems like it helped out Osage a ton because it made it really difficult for any Hallsville player to pick up. So they just didn't want to touch it, and it allowed it to roll all the way back to the 18-yard line.
Yeah, you can see those punts really bounce any way, but it bounced the exact perfect way if you're Osage. So 1st and 10 for Hallsville on their own 18-yard line. Matheny in the shotgun. 3 receivers lined up to the left, 1 to the right. He hands it off to Alfanish, who cuts to his left and works his way up past the 25-yard line where he's taken down. So a nice run by Abe Alfanish to start off the offense in the second half for Hallsville.
Yeah, we're going to have to see how the run game can really pick up, if they're going to be seeing a little bit more like that, or is it going to be a little bit more of what we saw in the first half? It's going to be important that they keep that alive.
2nd down and 2 for this Hallsville offense. They're on their own 26-yard line. This time 2 receivers lined up on the right, 1 to the left. The one on the left is Isaac Stinson, Matheny in the shotgun. And he'll hand it off to Alfanish once again, who cuts towards his right, and he's tripped up by Aiden Williams, I believe. Or no, that was actually Jason Colonius, who was in there on the stop. Alfanish going nowhere, and it'll bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, and that one, that's what we saw a little bit more of in the first half. And really just the front from Osage is very difficult to stop right now.
This will be a gain of 0 yards. 3rd down and 2 for Hallsville on their 26-yard line. Matheny in the shotgun. He's got Alfanish to his right. He takes a snap looking towards his left, and the pass is broken up, intended for Isaac Stinson. A nice play by the Osage defense as Landon Childs breaks up the pass, and it'll bring up 4th down and short.
Yeah, really good play from Childs in order to jump in front of that one and make sure that it wasn't picked up, because that is probably a 1st down if he catches that. And really good getting in front of that one and not getting a pass interference call either.
Yeah, so after a 1st down run of 8 yards from Abe Alfanish, Hallsville offense doesn't have any answers, and it looks like Matheny on 4th down here will punt, and he does. So he punts the ball down. It lands near the 35, down to the 30 of Osage, and it'll settle right around the 29-yard line of Osage. So first drive going nowhere in the second half for Hallsville, and Osage will take over in their own territory.
Yeah, a nice little 46-yard punt there from Matheny, as there was nobody back to return it from Osage. So a field flipper right there. I mean, maybe a little bit disappointing from Hallsville, but they're not really worried about this Osage offense. I think that's what that has to show. They punt the ball away because they're not worried about falling down 2 scores at the moment. And with the way that Hallsville's defense has been looking, I mean, it's going to be tough for Osage to score. But again, you can't just quite put them away just yet. They are still up 7-0.
1st down and 10 for Osage on their own 29-yard line. Trusty in the shotgun hands it off to Williams, who cuts to his right towards the outside, and he's got a lot of room across the 40 to the 45 to the 50 to the 45 of Hallsville, and he runs out of bounds. A big run for Aiden Williams on 1st down, and Osage moves it into Hallsville territory.
As I mentioned, don't put them away just yet. The defense for Hallsville had been pretty good up to that moment this half, but right there, that's a little bit of a breakdown right there. Not being able to get around and allowing him to really break free.
Overall, Hallsville has done a nice job of shutting down Aiden Williams, but he's had a couple of runs like that where he's been able to just break free, and once he is free, he goes pretty far with that explosiveness that he possesses. 1st down and 10 for Osage on the Hallsville 43-yard line. Snap back to Trusty. He hands it off to Colonius, who runs up the middle, cuts to his right, and he gets a decent gain up across the 35-yard line of Hallsville. Taken down by a plethora of Hallsville players. It'll be second down and short.
And this looks a lot like what we saw in that very first possession of the game for Osage. They've been working that run game, and they're finally getting those gaps open that they were looking for basically up until now again.
So a discouraging defensive drive so far for Hallsville. We'll see what adjustments they make here as it's second down and 2 for Osage on the Hallsville 35-yard line. Just over 6 minutes to go in quarter number 3. Trusty in the shotgun. 2 running backs in the backfield. Trusty hands off to Williams, and Williams is met by a crowd of players right near the 32-yard line. We'll see if he had enough for the first down. It appears he was close to the line to gain, and yes, he will have enough for the first down. So a first down for Osage, and they keep the ball moving here on their second drive of the second half.
Well, they haven't had the big play to put them into the end zone just yet. We've seen them get into this territory before without scoring, so if Hallsville can pick it right back up where they need to, don't be surprised if Osage comes up with nothing. But again, Hallsville does have to step it up here. They can't continue letting Osage run over them like that.
Trusty hands it off to Williams on first down, and Williams has a decent gain as he runs up the middle, up near the 25-yard line of Hallsville, and will bring up second down.
And just continuing to get about 6 yards, 8 yards, 10 yards here and there. It's tough to stop an offense whenever they're getting runs like that.
So second down and 3 for Osage here. They've got the ball on the 24-yard line of Hallsville. So Osage threatening here. They look like they were moving the ball, remember, at the end of the first half, and they had time run out on them. But they're picking it right up here with the second drive in the second half. Second down and 3, 24-yard line. Trusty hands it off to Colonius, who runs up the middle past the 20-yard line, and he's got another first down for Osage.
And again, it's just the same thing over and over again. They're running to the edges right now, and being able to go around the edges, they're not running it up the middle as much anymore. So kind of getting over to the tackle side and getting around to there, that's going to be what Hallsville needs to do right now, and they just not able to get around some great blocking from Osage.
We wondered if Osage would try to throw the ball more here in this third quarter, but so far the run game seems to be working again. First down and 10 for Osage on the Hallsville 19-yard line. Trusty in the shotgun. He hands it off to Williams, who finds a hole at his left, and Williams has room. Williams to the 5, and he scores. Aiden Williams with his second touchdown run of the game, and Osage extends their lead.
Well, maybe Hallsville should have been a little bit more worried about that Osage offense when they punted the ball. Nonetheless, now it's a 2-score game, and it's looking like Hallsville's offense, they're really going to need to step it up because that defense has seemingly been putting out all that they can, and it's just not been enough so far.
Up, and the extra point is good. So a 19-yard run for Aiden Williams, and Osage now leads 14-0. So Hallsville looking for answers on offense. They'll get the ball back, but now they've got a 2-score lead to try and come back from.
Well, I mean, you look at it, and it's third quarter, and you're like, 2-score lead. You don't really have to worry too much about that. You just need to play well. But with the way that Osage has been running the ball nonstop, that clock is going to drip away super quickly. So, I mean, you don't really have as many possessions as you might have in other games. So the offense really does need to pick it up. What they need to do is they need to get a points on the board here. They need to get a touchdown and push down the field and show that the offense is ready to play in the second half. Feels like it just started, but we're already 8 minutes into this game, only 4 minutes to go, only 4 minutes to go in this third quarter. And the offense seemingly still asleep for Hallsville. They need to wake it up, and they need to get into that end zone to start back that momentum that they need.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about this at halftime, about the stamina of Hallsville's defense and how it was able to be kept up and how their stamina was good in that second quarter. Now are we kind of starting to see maybe them get a little bit tired on defense?
Well, I'm not so certain about tired as I am about mentally tired. It seems like they're seeing the same thing over and over again, and they're kind of becoming mentally numb to that, which is a very difficult thing to work around. However, Hallsville's been successful against it earlier in the game, so don't count them out from stopping it just yet.
And the kick is away, and it is out of bounds once again, so Hallsville will start their second drive of the second half on their own 35-yard line. Braden Matheny, the junior quarterback, back to work. It's been a huge year for Matheny. 1,656 yards, 19 touchdowns already here in Week 6. He's got only 3 interceptions. Just a really strong start to this year for Matheny, but so far not a whole lot of answers tonight.
Yeah, 19 passing touchdowns on the year, but none tonight. He's been averaging about 4 passing touchdowns a game. So to see him come out here, and he's missed a couple passes as well, but he still looked mostly like himself. It's a little bit of a surprise to me that Hallsville hasn't been able to succeed so far.
Play action on first down, and Matheny finds Zach Giray on the far side of the field, and he is taken down not before gaining about 7 yards on the play. A nice pickup from Zach Giray, who we haven't really seen get going so far for this offense, and it's second down and short.
Yeah, and maybe a little bit of a surprise that we haven't seen Zach Giray get too involved here, but at the same time, Hallsville usually likes to enforce their other receivers before turning to Giray.
Second down and short, handoff to El Fanish, and he gets across up to the 49-yard line. And that'll be enough for a first down for Hallsville. So Hallsville early on this drive moving the ball pretty well and almost in Osage territory.
Well, it's only 2 plays, but this offense from those 2 plays looks very similar to what we've seen in previous weeks, and that's what you need to see if Hallsville is going to get back into this one.
First down and 10. Clock continues to run now. Below 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the third quarter. 3 receivers stacked on the right, Matheny in the shotgun. He fakes the handoff to El Fanish, now looking downfield, double clutches, and he finds his receiver near the 44-yard line. It's Isaac Stinson once again making a huge impact here so far in this game. That's another catch for him.
It looks like the flag could be going against Hallsville here.
There is a flag. Yep, I didn't catch that. There is a flag on the field. It went down near the midfield logo, and the players are moving back. So it looks like it will indeed be on Hallsville.
Yeah, and again, a tough play right there. And we mentioned it, how the penalties hadn't really been a big thing. Well, coming at one of the worst times that it could right now is the offense is trying to find its legs. So you really can't let that get to your head right now. You need to be able to get back out there and play the offense the way you want to play it. Don't let that get into your head because it is only 5 yards behind where you started at, so it brings up a 1st and 15. So just needing to be able to keep that penalty out of your head right now.
Absolutely, and first down and 15 is what it will be on the Hallsville 43-yard line. Matheny gets the ball. He throws it down the sideline looking for Stinson, and the ball's just out of his reach. And a late flag on the play is called near the 30-yard line.
Looked like a late hit from Dane DePee after the ball had dropped. DePee comes over and continues to push on to Isaac Stinson, who was the target on that one. And, well, it pushes Hallsville right back to a little further up if the flag is what we think it is.
Waiting for the call right now from the referees. They're still trying to figure it out as a couple of the referees talking near midfield. And this is a big call here. 2:59 left to go in the third quarter. 14-0 Osage. And we're just now finally getting a call, and it's pass interference on the defense.
And that, I thought it might have been a late hit, but no, the pass interference going to be called there. Similar to kind of the one that we saw that was called against Hallsville earlier on Osage that led them to pushing down the field further. And now first down coming up. That is a huge call and a huge help out for Hallsville.
First down and 10 on the Osage 41. Matheny in the shotgun, rolling out towards his right. Matheny makes a throw on the run, and he overthrows his receiver. He was looking for Giray. Colton Nichols also in the area. It goes incomplete and brings up second down and 10.
Well, it's been surprising to me, but Braden Matheny hasn't really been able to connect on any of these deep balls. That's one of the things that, makes him such an exciting quarterback is the fact that usually he can hit his receivers deep. He hasn't really been able to do that today. So some credit to the pressure that's been getting onto him from Osage, but also the defensive backs being able to stay up with their man and make them contested plays.
Yeah, we've seen the shorter passes have a little bit more success, but you're right, indeed. Those long passes downfield have just not been the most accurate so far for Braden Matheny. Second down and 10 on the Osage 41. Matheny will hand it off to Alfanish, who cuts to his right now going up the middle, and he's going to get met right near the line of scrimmage by the Osage defensive line. So it'll be no gain on second down, third down and 10 now for Hallsville.
And this one coming up here is maybe the biggest play of the game so far, because you can't let your offense stall out right here. You need to get points on the board as before this drive stalls out. And with the 3rd and 10 coming up, this is probably the furthest away, the best chance that Osage will have to stop you.
With the way Osage has been running the ball on offense, you certainly don't want to give them the ball back up by 14. As third down and 10, Matheny takes the snap. Pressure coming, a good block by Alfanish, but the line collapses, and down goes Matheny.
Oh, man, and just a great blitz call right there from Osage in order to get that one. Shannon Jolly calling up the good plays there for Osage. And again, just a tough play right there, and didn't really give any time for Braden Matheny. And with a 4th and 14, looks like you're going to have to punt this one, but you really don't want to right here.
Well, they are in Osage territory, and it looks like Hallsville is going to call a timeout and take a little bit more time to make this decision. Austin, what are you doing here? 4th and 14 on the Osage 45. Do you punt the ball back to Osage, or do you try and go for this one?
Oh, man, this is a tough call to make. If I'm head coach Justin Conyers, I'm not entirely sure what to go for right here. I'm going to leave the decision up to him. I'm just the guy that's broadcasting the game right now. But, I mean, you're in opposing territory, and it's a long way to go. You know, this season, Hallsville's been pretty good at getting these big plays on important downs. But this game specifically, they haven't looked the best. They've struggled to get the ball downfield. They've struggled to make that big play. We saw it a couple times, but we've also seen quite a few misses from Braden Matheny and from the receivers and from good defensive back play. So, you know, I'm not entirely sure what you call here, because a punt, of course, you never really want to punt. But again, it will be tough to gauge the situation offensively, so I'll leave this decision up to head coach Conyers.
Well, a punt would give your defense some good field position, hopefully. But down 14 in a fast-moving game, there's only going to be so many more opportunities for Hallsville to put points on the board and get back in this game. So we'll see.
You also got to note that they haven't given away many turnovers this game, and they have a pretty good punter who's getting 40-plus yards of punt.
Matheny in the shotgun. It appears that they're going to go for it. 3 receivers stacked on the right, and they do. Matheny rolling to his right. Matheny is going to go downfield, and his pass is broken up. Broken up, incomplete. That was Landon Childs again. He's been all over the place for this Osage defense. He nearly came up with the interception, but it'll be a turnover on downs, and Osage regains possession up 14.
Yeah, and, you know, that's the call that Coach Conyers went with, and it seemed like maybe there was a chance to fit that one in there, but just, again, great defense from Osage, and that's been their calling card tonight. It has been the stifling defense that's held this once stout Hallsville offense to looking very pedestrian tonight.
Yeah, really good coverage for Osage. We've seen it all night, and look, it's not easy to contain this pass game of Hallsville. Not a lot of teams have been able to do it so far this year, but Osage doing a nice job. 1st and 10 for Osage on their own 45-yard line, and the ball is fumbled, but it is picked back up by Trusty. It looked like maybe the ball was dropped on the exchange. He was trying to hand that ball off to Aiden Williams, but the ball hit the turf, and luckily for Osage, their quarterback was able to pick it back up.
Yeah, and that one could have been a game changer if Hallsville was able to gain an extra possession right now there. Now, nonetheless, they didn't end up doing it, but it does push them back 2 yards, brings up a 2nd and 12. But the way that Osage's run game has been able to go, don't be surprised to see them pick this one right back up.
Inside the final minute of the third quarter, 2nd and 12 for Osage on their own 43-yard line, and the ball handed off to Colonius, who goes to his right now, back towards the middle, and he is met by a group of Hallsville defenders. Maybe gained about 2 and got back to the original line of scrimmage, but it'll be third down for Osage.
Yeah, and with the clock dwindling down, it looks like probably one last play here from Osage before the end of the third quarter. And, you know, a 14-point lead for Osage. I don't think they're going to complain about that, especially the fact that they have held Hallsville to 0 points, an offense that has been scoring 45 points per game.
The Osage defense playing well enough that you don't feel the need to do anything too spectacular on offense. Third down and 9 on Osage's 46-yard line. They're going to let this clock run down, and it appears that Osage will now take a timeout with just seconds to go on the play clock, 7 seconds to go in the third quarter.
That's an interesting call there, and it didn't seem like they were too rushed to get the play out. It seems like they had the design, but a timeout taken there. And, well, now you're down to 2 timeouts. Now, I know 2 timeouts is still good to work with, but if Hallsville is able to get back into this game, if they are able to score, you know, 2 touchdowns and tie this thing up, well, then you're in need of that timeout. Now, again, 2 timeouts is fine to work with, but I'm sure that there's going to be another situation that Osage could look at and be like, hey, we need to use that timeout a little more than they did right here. So, again, a little bit of a confusing call for me. Nonetheless, last half I said the same thing, and it didn't seem to end up being a problem for them. But, you know, again, just interesting and something to keep an eye out for in the future.
I was going to mention that we did kind of say that same thing in the first half when Osage used not 1 but 2 timeouts fairly quickly, and it didn't come back to bite them, and that was back when they had only a 7-point lead. So now a 14-point lead, not too worried about these timeouts. So 7 seconds to go in the third quarter, third down and 9 for Osage. We'll see what they drew up during the timeout. They're on their own 46-yard line, trying to keep this offense moving. There will be 1 receiver to the left, 2 running backs in the backfield as per normal. Trusty in the shotgun, takes a snap, hands off to Williams, who cuts towards the right across the 50-yard line in the Hallsville territory across the 45, and he's pushed out of bounds near the first down line. It looked like he may have gotten that first down. Clock stops with 2 seconds left in the third quarter, and it will be a first down for Osage.
And another tough play right there, a little bit of allowing the runner to get around the edge, and that's something we've seen whenever Osage has been able to pull off big plays. It's been getting to the edge of the offensive line and using their tight ends to block for them, and that has been where they've really been able to succeed.
Williams continues to have a strong game for Osage, and he's able to get out of bounds there at the end of that play, so they'll be able to run 1 more play before the third quarter expires. Trusty under center now, and he'll hand the ball off to Williams once again, who will power his way up the middle, and he gets a lot of extra yards after contact, still on his feet all the way up to the Hallsville 25-yard line, and he gets maybe about 15 yards after contact on that play. Another first down for Osage as the third quarter expires.
Well, Dalvin Smith saving a touchdown right there. He was the last defender, barely got his arms around Aiden Williams, very easily could have let go and allowed him to run freely, but Dalvin Smith did stay strong right there and was able to take him to the ground. Now, nonetheless, you don't want to allow a guy like that, you know, that much space and to be able to break that many tackles, but it could have been a lot worse were it not for Dalvin Smith coming away with that last-second takedown at the end. So, I mean, at the end of 3 quarters, Hallsville not where they want to be offensively, but defensively, I mean, they've got to be able to turn around and stop that run play where it's at. Get back to what they were doing in the first half outside of that first possession.
I mean, look, it's going to be tough to go in this fourth quarter and score the 2 touchdowns that are needed when you haven't scored a touchdown at all in the first 3 quarters of this game. So it'll be a challenge for sure for Hallsville. But first, they've got to stop this driving Osage offense and Aiden Williams, who does not seem to be fatiguing at all. I mean, the yards after contact in that last run, very impressive. And I mean, we talked about him before the game. We talked about how this offense for Osage is run heavy. And I mean, we're really seeing it all play out here. And in that third quarter specifically, the run game, just making a huge impact.
Yeah, and I think you got to also look at Jason Colonius. I mean, we've been talking Aiden Williams all time, you know, this whole time. But he's not the only one that can make an impact. And if you just try and solely focus on Aiden Williams, Jason Colonius very easily could start to run that ball all over you as well. So now a 14-0 game in the fourth quarter here, and Osage breaks the huddle. Maverick Trusty in the shotgun. He takes the snap. Same formation as has been the standard this game, and stuffed up at the line of scrimmage. Call it the 25-yard line for no gain. Brings up a 2nd and 10, as that was Aiden Williams yet again who took the carry.
That was Abe Alfanish in on the tackle for this defense. Alfanish maybe not having the game on offense that he is accustomed to so far this season with that run game, but on defense so far tonight, he's been really solid, making a lot of nice tackles.
Yes, he has, and that's always been something that you can credit him for, is playing hard both offensively and defensively, no matter the night. Well, Osage breaks the huddle again. They're running that same formation from the middle of the field, hiking the ball, taking the snap, handing it off to Colonius, and going down for a gain of, call it 3 or 2 yards on that. Call it 3 yards on the carry to bring up a 3rd and 7 down at the 22-yard line.
Well, Hallsville is bringing pressure on a lot of these plays here in the fourth quarter, and maybe it's something that they got away from a little bit in the third quarter as the passing game of Osage made an appearance in the second quarter. So maybe the defense adjusted a little bit. Osage saw that and decided now we have room to run the ball, and Hallsville once again is making that adjustment and starting to send more pressure, knowing that Osage is in full run mode right now.
Hallsville looking a little bit better here in this fourth quarter as the clock continues to run down, 10.5 to go. And again, it's been that offensive motion, switching the sides of the tight ends real quick, as here comes the snap. Aiden Williams got it. He tries to make a juke, but can't make a lot of room. He gets 1 yard on that carry as he's taken down at the 22 to bring up a 4th and 7 as Hallsville's defense stands strong there and prevents a touchdown from Osage, who looks to continue driving down the field.
That was another really nice play by Xavier Stinson in on the tackle there for Hallsville. Isaac has been really good on offense, and Xavier on defense, I think, has just been lights out for this Hallsville team. And we'll see what happens here on 4th down and 7. Big moment in this game.
The 4th and 7 not bringing out the kicker, so it looks like they're going to be going for it. A different formation here. 3 on the right side. Taking the snap. Absolutely taken down well behind the line of scrimmage, and not even trying to throw that ball, as there were 4 Hallsville defenders immediately on Maverick Trusty as he was taken down all the way back at the 33-yard line.
That's going to be Jacob Plummer, the safety, in for his first sack of the season. Boy, did Hallsville need that. They really, really needed that. And now they have the ball back, and this offense gets an opportunity to get things going here. Still only down by 2 scores. Could be worse. Still only down by 2 scores.
I mean, it's the same thing as getting a fumble recovery and then returning it a few yards, or picking it off and then returning it right back up to here. They got some nice return yardage up to the 33 on the sack, as here comes Braden Matheny, and he throws that one well over the head of Zach Duray down the right sideline, trying to get that passing attack reinstated. But it does bring up a 2nd and 10 here, starting from the 3rd and 33.
That just seemed kind of like a lackadaisical play there from Matheny to Duray. They just don't seem to have the same connection that we've seen between them in the first 5 weeks of the season. So far tonight, Duray just not making a huge impact on offense, and it just seems like there's a little bit of a disconnect there.
Yeah, and we'll have to see if they can really fix that here. And it's seemingly kind of been the same deal with Xavier Stinson and a little bit with Colton Nichols as well. Braden Matheny back in the shotgun. He takes the snap. He's looking to his 4 receivers. He throws over the middle, contested, but caught. A very good catch by Isaac Stinson, as there were 2 Osage defenders right on him. But it is caught at the 40-yard line as he's taken down. So it'll bring up a 3rd and 3, another big down coming up here for Hallsville.
Austin, I don't know how Isaac Stinson made that catch. That was very impressive. He was being pressured by not 1 but 2 Osage defenders, and he's still able to come up with that football. That's not the first time that has happened in this game. Isaac Stinson playing really strong tonight.
No, it's not, and he's very trustworthy, as here comes the snap. It's thrown out to the right side, and it looks like forward progress will be called, as it was a reception on that one. It's Zach Duray. Big play Duray coming up big there, getting the first down for Hallsville and pushing them up to the 44-yard line still on Hallsville's side of things.
Big play Duray is right, and after the rough miscommunication on first down of that drive, in my analysis that Duray wasn't quite on tonight, he comes up with the clutch catch and a first down for Hallsville.
Yes, he does. Well, the offense continuing to get ready. Braden Matheny back in at shotgun. He takes the snap. He's looking downfield. He goes deep over the middle, and it's slightly overthrown, but a flag. A flag is thrown in the vicinity of Landon Childs and Colton Nichols. Some sort of pass interference looks to be the call. We'll have to see who it's on. Last time I had guessed it was on the defense. Hallsville's pushing up the field as if they got the pass interference call.
I don't see how that one could possibly be on the offense. It should very well be on Landon Childs.
And they indeed do call it on Landon Childs right there. So the ball does move up 15 yards, and it brings up a first down. But Hallsville is now into Osage territory. They'll be starting things off here all the way up at Osage's 41-yard line. So a big switch up coming right there. And now Hallsville taking the first down. They're going to be looking to get things rolling on offense with 8.5 minutes to go in a 14-0 ball game in the fourth quarter.
We haven't seen the deep ball really work in terms of receptions, but it has happened a couple times where that flag is drawn. So a nice job by Matheny.
Matheny takes the snap. He drops back. There's a flag in the backfield. Matheny takes off up the middle. He's scrambling, trying to get extra yardage. He breaks one tackle up the sideline to the 28-yard line before being run out of bounds. But again, a flag in the backfield, and it looks like
it's going to be false start on the offense.
A false start on the offense, and a surprise to me they didn't blow the play dead.
Yeah, usually you see the play blown dead, but the referee has signaled false start, and he does so once again.
So a 5-yard penalty on that. I'm a little confused as to why the play wasn't blown dead there.
Yeah, you do usually see those plays blown dead. And I mean, a nice play by Matheny, but if you're Hallsville, you can't be super happy that you had your quarterback running the football on a play that shouldn't have even happened.
Nonetheless, a 1st and 15 coming up. The ball placed on the 46-yard line. Looks like a little bit of a different formation. 3 receivers out left. It's Jure, Nichols, and Xavier Stinson. On the right side, it's Isaac Stinson. Braden Matheny takes the snap. He's got pressure on him and taken down for the sack. And a great play right there, as that's Drake Williams coming around again for his 2nd sack of the night, taking down Braden Matheny well behind the line of scrimmage. He's back into Hallsville territory at the 45-yard line, and a 2nd and 24 coming up here now.
Yeah, this drive has really fallen flat, and Matheny a little bit slow to get up there after the sack. Drake Williams was just not picked up by anybody. He went in on a straight beeline for the quarterback and made his 2nd sack of the game.
Again, a difference maker for Osage defense. Well, the 2nd and 24 coming up here. Same as last time, and a flag already thrown here. We'll have to see what this is.
Yeah, not a whole lot.
Play clock
happened.
violation, I believe, is what the call is going to be there.
I didn't have my eyes on the play clock, but that would seem to make sense.
Or a time. It looks like a timeout was called from Hallsville as they were, I believe, running out on the play clock. So, still a 14-0 game, but oh man, only one timeout left from Hallsville, who is going to need this one if they want to really make a difference here, because the way that Osage has been running the ball, they need to be able to stop the clock. And especially on offense, if you want the creativity to do whatever you want, with only 7 minutes and 19 seconds to go in this fourth quarter, that's going to be a tall order with only one timeout.
Yeah, look, scoring on this drive right now is a must.
Yes.
You can't expect, after not scoring all game, to score twice in the final 5 minutes, maybe even less than that, if Osage continues to run this ball. So scoring on this drive is a must for Hallsville. And after a really strong start to the drive, it's just completely lagged out. And right now having all sorts of problems. So they're going to have to figure something out here. I mean, this is almost 4-down territory no matter where you are, even if you're in your own on your own side of the field, because if Osage gets the ball back and the score is still 14-0, I mean, the chance of Hallsville being able to mount a comeback in this game, it just keeps on dwindling.
Yeah, and we'll have to see exactly what happens here. The 2nd and 24 coming up. Both teams have broken their huddles. They're back in their formations. 3 receivers on the left side, 1 on the right side for Hallsville. Abel Phoenicia in the backfield behind Braden Matheny. He calls for the hard count. He gets the snap. Heavy pressure. He stays in the pocket. He throws up high over the middle and heavily played. No flag is thrown there. Colton Nichols can't make the completion. And that's going to bring up a 3rd and 24, and a heavy contact on that play right there.
Yeah, and Caden Neubauer was in on the pressure for Osage, and he almost was able to take down Matheny for another sack. Matheny able to get the ball off. Tucker Cates having a tough time keeping the defender away from his quarterback on that play. That could have been even more disastrous for Hallsville.
Yeah, and we'll have to see if the Hallsville offensive line is able to keep up against this great pressure that Osage is getting. Looks like they're only sending 2 on the D-line right now, and then 2 edge rushers. The snap, it looks like a screen pass, and it's picked off. It's picked off by Osage. The defensive lineman, Nick Joyner, picks it off on the attempted screen pass. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah, that's...
And what a change in momentum that was.
Yeah, it's not over till it's over, but I mean, that kind of feels like the dagger, doesn't it, in such a low-scoring game? I mean, there's still 7 minutes to play, but Hallsville needed to score on that drive, and not only are they not able to score, but it ends up with a tipped interception to the sophomore D lineman, and now Osage has the ball on Hallsville's 21, so just a disastrous play.
I'm still in shock about that one. Man, that was a tough play right there. So the defense back out here, a 1st and 10, as at the 21-yard line. Osage takes this one. They hand it off to Aiden Williams, of course, again, bringing this up to the 20-yard line, maybe the 19-yard line, before being taken down. And now Osage will likely just keep running the ball here, trickle that clock down. And I mean, again, it seems like they might even be in field goal range right now for a less than a 40-yard field goal. 37 from where they would kick it right now, which is a definitely a kickable one. Maybe it's still further than you would like, but nonetheless, with the improved kicking game from Osage, don't be surprised if they go up 3 scores right here, and that just can't happen. So Hallsville needing a stop here. The handoff, that one's up the left side, and diving forward is Jason Canolius, and going down at the 15. But a flag on that play right at Colonius. So not sure what the flag's going to be called on, but Osage stepping a little farther back behind the line. And looks like helmet to helmet, I believe, is what was called right there.
Yeah, it's going to be on Osage, and not only does it back up Osage, it stops the clock for Hallsville.
Well, that might be a savior right there for Hallsville. Seemed like they were dead in the water, but hello to a new opportunity as the ball is pushed all the way back to the 31. And as I was mentioning about field goal range, this one not really in field goal range for Osage right now. So to bring up a 2nd and 19, I believe is what it is, maybe a 2nd and 20. Well, this starts to become a little bit more of a game.
I don't think Osage is as concerned with field goal range as they are just burning as much clock as they can right now.
So the clock does restart now. 6 minutes to go. Here comes the handoff to Aiden Williams, running right side, trying to get around the edge. He does break a tackle. He's pushing further up. Now 2 Hallsville defenders on him, but he's gotten his way all the way up to the 19-yard line again to bring up a 3rd and 9. The clock continues to run, and now Osage, they keep pushing here, but they've still got 9 yards to get in order to stay on the field. But 5.5 minutes to go, and still a 2-score lead. This one is going to be tough for Hallsville to come out with.
Yeah, Osage really needed that play, and they got it from Aiden Williams, who's just been so elusive all game long, breaking a lot of tackles, a lot of yards after contact, and Osage needed that now, a much more manageable.
Call it a 3rd and 8 and a low snap, and then taken down behind the line of scrimmage for a sack. And, well, now it brings up a 4th down, so Osage will have a 4th and, I believe, 12 coming up here. Yep, a 4th and 12 coming up from the 23-yard line. A long field goal attempt if they were to try it. So I believe that just the Osage offense will stick out here, try to go for this one.
Yeah, you would take a field goal in this situation if you could get it, but in terms of a high school field goal range, this would be a long field goal, and it looks as if Osage is keeping their offense on the field for now. There is some confusion, and now a timeout is called, so they may want to talk this one over and decide just exactly what they want to do.
Well, another timeout used there. 4.5 minutes to go. 4 minutes, 33 seconds to be exact here in the fourth quarter, and a miraculous comeback is needed from Hallsville, whose offense has been held to just no points today. 0 points has been what they have seen, and they are looking to change things around. The defense hasn't been bad. Been able to stop Osage's run-heavy offense here and there, but needing a big stop here is looking to kind of seal the game, in all honesty. If Osage is able to pick up this first down and keep the clock running, that seems to me like that would really, in all legitimacy, finish this game.
Yeah, and Hallsville only having one timeout remaining also hurts them because, look, I mean, they're only going to have about 4 minutes, if all goes well, to score 2 touchdowns. And to do that with only one timeout and an offense on the other side that's just running the ball with so much force and with a lot of success in the second half, it's a very tall task. So, I mean, at this point, it's going to have to be a miraculous comeback for Hallsville. But it starts with getting a stop right here.
It does indeed, and the defense steps back out there. They're ready to get the stop here. But it does look like they will bring out the kicker. They will bring out the kicker, so no stop comes here, as that's going to be Brady Clark, who comes out for Osage. Brady Clark, the sophomore kicker. The hold, it's good. Is the kick good? It's up. It's good. They call it good, and it's a 3-score game now. A 40-yard field goal from Brady Clark to put it through the uprights and almost in all real ways seal this game.
Yeah, what already seemed like an insurmountable lead has just become more so there. Hallsville now needing 3 scores to tie Osage, and with an offense that's just not having success, an offense that just seems a little bit discombobulated tonight just from the kickoff, it's not looking good for Hallsville. And for Osage, I mean, we talked about it pregame. They had a tough start to their schedule, but this was a game where they really wanted to turn things around and kind of use that tough schedule to their advantage. And right now, here in their final home game of the regular season, it's looking like they will do just that.
Yeah, and showing up big in front of their home crowd. And Hallsville, they've been playing hard here. The defense giving it really their all. You haven't seen such a good defensive performance really this season. But, of course, it has to in the one game where the offense can't quite keep up. Every other game, it seemed like it's been the offense that was, pacing things and the defense that was trailing behind. It was flipped around this game. So, nonetheless, still 4.5 minutes to go. The game technically not over yet. 17-0 Osage leads, and the kickoff here as this one is away. Kicked up the middle. Dalvin Smith looks at it and lets it roll into the end zone, but, well, looks like he tried to pick it back up, but it does go into the end zone before he does. So a touchback coming up here for Hallsville, and they will start with the ball. And, well, they're going to try and get some big plays here, and it's going to take really a miraculous turnaround if they even want to make this really a close game.
Yeah, Dalvin Smith is probably lucky that ball did roll in the end zone, because I think if he picked it up and tried to run it, I mean, he may have been tackled inside his own 10, and that would have just made matters worse than they already are for this Hallsville offense.
Yep, so the ball going to be started with at the 20-yard line after the touchback. And stepping back out here, it's Braden Matheny. He's got Kason Conyers in the backfield alongside him, giving Abel Phoenicia a little bit of a rest here. So the fake handoff throwing right side to Zach Jeray, who runs well behind the line of scrimmage after catching this one. And he's going to be called down at the 20-yard line. Wow.
Yeah, Jeray's best bet there. He caught it around the 18-yard line, which just to be to turn towards his left and run the ball out of bounds. Not only do you gain a couple of yards, but you stop the clock. Instead, he loses a couple of yards, and this clock just keeps on rolling now at 4 minutes.
So a 2nd and 10 coming up here with Less than 4 minutes to go now. Braden Matheny steps back out there. Still Kason Conyers back at the running back spot. Xavier Stinson in tight end. 3 other wide receivers out there. Here comes the snap. Braden Matheny, he's got a little bit of time in the pocket. He throws, and it's overthrown as he tried to hit Colton Nichols right there, and just not really looking too composed right now. And Colton Nichols in a bit of pain, but he jumps back up. He looks like he's fine. Just had to run it off a little bit as he's getting back over to there. And Hallsville now down to a 3rd and 10. 3:42 to go in this game, and not really too much fight coming on from this offense right now.
Drake Williams had another nice move put on there and almost had another play on the quarterback, Matheny. He has been a force at linebacker for this Osage team tonight. Really the defensive MVP in a game where they've shut down Hallsville.
So the snap now, the faking the handoff, and immediately under pressure, taken down at the 15-yard line. Braden Matheny, and that's, once again, it's Drake Williams who's in there.
Yeah, I mean, he's been unbelievable. I mean, the offensive line has just had no answer for Drake Williams, and only a sophomore on this Osage team already looking like one of the most valuable players in this game.
I believe that'll be half a sack for him, as it was also John Kimmery who was in there.
The team sack leader.
For another
Kimmery.
half sack for him, the team sack leader, John Kimmery. So a 4th and 14 coming up for Hallsville as they're going to burn their final timeout here. Just try and probably get one last play to work for them, as it seems like this one is all but put away.
Yeah, this is kind of it right here. I mean, even if they are able to score on this drive, there's no timeouts left. They've still got to get 2 more scores. It's just not looking good for Hallsville right now. We'll see if they can muster up something here on offense to try to move the ball downfield, but this is pretty much it here. If Hallsville is unable to be successful on this 4th down, Osage will take over, and that'll pretty much do it. They'll look to run out the clock, and Hallsville won't be able to stop that clock.
No, they will not be able to, so that does appear like that is going to be what it is. 3 minutes and 13 seconds to go, though, so Hallsville might as well go ahead and run one last play. Abel Finish back in there in the backfield. On the right side, it's Isaac Stinson. Far left, it's Zach Jure. In the slot, it's Colton Nichols. And then at tight end, it's Xavier Stinson. Here comes the snap. Dropping back in the pocket. Again, immediately facing pressure, it's Matheny. And he's taken down for a sack. Once again, Drake Williams.
Wow.
I mean, I know it's garbage time right now, but that's 3.5 sacks for the sophomore linebacker, and that's just unheard of.
Yeah, he has been outstanding in this game. I mean, I just spent a lot of time talking about it, and he has a sack and a half since I started talking about it. I mean, he's just been everywhere for this defense tonight, and with 3 minutes to go here, Osage is just going to look to run the clock out, and they're going to get their 2nd win of the season.
Yes, they will. So 3 minutes and 6 seconds to go, and this is one of the things that Coach Conyers had said in the pregame show. This is probably one of, if not the strongest 1-4 teams in the state right now. They had a very tough schedule, so the ball going to be given away here on a nice little run play. I believe that was Caden Neubauer who's coming out to run the ball, the senior running back. He doesn't get too much work, but he is worked in there. Again, the final home game for Osage, so working in the senior night for them. Also homecoming, so of course going to want to get those seniors involved. 2.5 minutes to go here. And Osage back out again in that same formation that has been so dominant all game long. Once again to Neubauer, who's up the middle. He's taken down at the 5-yard line. Not quite enough for a 1st down, so it brings up a 3rd and 1 now as the clock dwindles below 2 minutes.
Well, Osage is getting to the territory where they can pretty much wrap this thing up, but they're going to run out of room. They're at the 5-yard line. They might as well score another touchdown here with the way that they are moving the ball. I mean, the run game has just been as good as advertised for this Osage team.
It really has been. Well, Neubauer back in there. Looks like they're going to give him the snap. Can he put it in? He does. And Caden Nybauer goes in there, and he gets the touchdown with under 2 minutes to go. It makes the score 23-0 as Osage continues to add on to their lead. And, yep, that's definitely game.
Yeah,
right there.
That's just about the cherry on top is Osage didn't need any more points. They could have pretty much just run this game out. But like I said, I mean, they didn't have any more room to run.
Well, if they had a little bit of fantasy football, that might be helpful. A 2-point conversion attempt as the extra point was a muffed snap, so rolling out on that one, and it keeps it at 23-0. So Hallsville will get one last look offensively, or they'll just kneel the ball out here. I expect to see some kind of offensive attempt here, trying to get things working. They still haven't scored in this game. You know, trying not to get shut out would be a big thing for Hallsville.
Well, we saw it 2 weeks ago when Hallsville was playing Grandview, and Grandview was the team being shut out in the fourth quarter, and it just meant so much to them to get points on the board, even though they were going to surely lose that game. Now Hallsville is kind of in the opposite situation where they want to just get some points on the board, and they will have 1:43 to try and do so with no timeouts.
Yep, so 1:43, I guess we get to see a little bit more of airing the ball out, which, you know, in previous games it worked really well, but it did not work so well today, and not really sure who to put the blame on here. Not really a great all-around effort, and an unfortunate turn of events for Hallsville, who was looking in the right direction. They'd won a few games previously. They'd won 3 in a row before they finally lose again, this time at Osage. So the kickoff here from Osage, and going to the right side of things, picking this one up and running it up the right sideline before getting pushed out of bounds. That one is going to be Lawson Burks, the sophomore for Hallsville.
Yeah, we'll see if Hallsville starts to go with maybe some guys who spent this bench, maybe some younger guys on this last drive. Not really a super meaningful drive with the score 23-0. We'll see if they try to get some other guys some experience here.
So Kason Conyers stepping back out there. Zach Duray, Isaac Stinson, Braden Matheny, Colton Nichols, all of the weapons out there. Also Xavier Stinson lined up at the edge of the offensive line. So nonetheless, that is all the weapons. And here comes the snap handoff to Kason Conyers, who's got a little bit of space. He works his way up for a nice carry of about 10 yards before he's taken down at the 38-yard line, the 37-yard line. And it'll bring up another first down, so a nice 10-yard gain.
Yeah, good to see Kason Conyers getting an opportunity. He hasn't gotten a whole lot this year, but as a freshman, you'd expect that. But when he has gotten the opportunity, he's looked good for this Hallsville team.
Well, he's getting another one here. He runs right side. He's trying to get a little space. He does go out of bounds at the 41-yard line, so the clock does stop at a minute. Picks up 0.8, and that is going to be still picked up by Hallsville, but it brings up a 4th and 4. Clock winding down. It's down to 35 seconds, but the play clock was at 30 at the time that I said that. So a 5-second difference between play clock and actual game clock. So one more play inbound here for Hallsville. The snap, it's handed off to Conyers, and Conyers is stuffed behind the line of scrimmage at the 42-yard line, so a loss of 1 on the carry with under 17 seconds to go. So Osage will just kneel this one out from here on out with the final game, the final play coming up here.
And Osage was 0-3 at home so far this season. So in their last home game of the year, they're going to get their first home win of the year. So it has to feel extra specially good for these players as well as all of the fans that made it out to the stadium tonight. And for Hallsville, they'll be searching for answers, especially on offense, after being shut out for the first time this year.
And the clock winds down, 5 seconds to go. The players run off the fields and get set to handshake, and there goes the clock. The final score, Hallsville 0, Osage 23 for Hallsville's second loss on the season and Osage's second win of this season. But that is going to do it from us here. Any real quick thoughts before we head into the postgame show?
Yeah, I think that Hallsville's offense really had a wake-up call tonight. They were kind of used to putting up a lot of points, putting up 50, putting up 40, and, this was a wake-up call. Not a lot of things worked. You're not going to come out here and score 50 points and just put up touchdown after touchdown every game. And they're going to be left searching for answers at practice this week and trying to put some points on the board next week and get back rolling.
Yes, they will. Well, that is going to do it for the game tonight. We have a post-game show coming up after this. We'll break down what we saw in the game, and we will also have, of course, the exclusive post-game press conference, our questionnaire with head coach Justin Conyers coming up here, an exclusive interview with him as he comes up to the booth after the game here. Again, all that coming up on the Hallsville post-game show here on the Show Me Sports Network. We'll be right back after this.
You've been listening to Hallsville Indians football on the exclusive home for Indians football, the Show Me Sports Network. Exclusive play-by-play coverage of Hallsville Indians football has been brought to you by Avon with Michelle Carty, Boone County Journal, Centurion Cares, Eddie Gaedel Society, Han Custom Laser Engraving LLC, Hallsville Athletic Boosters, Last Sentinel Firearms, Retrieving Freedom, Sawdust Studios, and Zealous WBGT. The biggest and absolute best coverage in mid-Missouri continues as you're just moments away from the exclusive postgame show. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Hallsville Indians football on the Indians Radio Network.
Since 2018, Han Custom Laser Engraving LLC has been specializing in all things custom, using large format, high-powered lasers with some of the most advanced technologies on the market. Anything can become a canvas. The state-of-the-art system makes quick work of custom engraving on cups, glass, tile, wood, acrylic, metal, headstones with endless possibilities. They also offer custom one-of-a-kind signs that are sure to make your design stand out. Find them on Facebook at Han Custom Laser Engraving or call 573-489-8732 to find out more. Han Custom Laser Engraving LLC, a veteran-owned business.
At Hallsville School District, our educators do more than just teach. Lives are being shaped for the future before they even enter a classroom. For students to succeed, it takes an entire district-wide team. Join Hallsville School District's team today, now offering competitive salaries and benefits for all positions. Visit hallsville.org and click on the employment link under our district tab.
Last Sentinel Firearms is your federally licensed and registered Type 7 FFL manufacturer dealer in Missouri, providing quality products to all types of sports enthusiasts, law enforcement, and individuals across the nation. Orders are currently being fulfilled, offering custom-built pistols and rifles from the AR platform made right here in Missouri. Visit their website at lastsentinelfirearms.com or call them at 417-684-7202 to find out what they've got for you. Last Sentinel Firearms, you are your last line of defense.
Hi, I'm retired Army Sergeant Trent Dirks, and I want to tell you about an organization that saved and changed my life forever. Retrieving Freedom provides highly trained service dogs to veterans with disabilities and children with autism, absolutely free of charge, thanks to the generous donations and support from people just like you. Experts from Retrieving Freedom help throughout the entire process, from fostering programs through service dog placement. Retrieving Freedom gave me the skilled service dog Tracer, who has been my best friend and my lifeline. To find out more about how you can get involved, volunteer, foster, or to donate, visit their website, retrievingfreedom.org. Retrieving Freedom, changing lives through the training and placement of service dogs for veterans with disabilities and children with autism.
This is the Hallsville Indians postgame show on the exclusive home for Indians football, the Show Me Sports Network. The Show Me Sports Network broadcast crew will discuss their thoughts on tonight's game as well as look ahead to the next action for the Indians. Exclusive postgame coverage of Hallsville Indians football is brought to you by Avon with Michelle Carty, Boone County Journal, Centurion Cares, Eddie Gaedel Society, Han Custom Laser Engraving LLC, Hallsville Athletic Boosters, Last Sentinel Firearms, Retrieving Freedom, Sawdust Studios, and Zealous WBGT. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Hallsville Indians football on the Indians Radio Network. Now let's go live to the field of the Show Me Sports Network broadcast booth.
Well, a disappointing outcome for the Hallsville Indians tonight as they ended up losing 23-0 to the Osage Indians, and not exactly what they were looking for, to say the least. Hoping for a little bit better of an outcome. The defense, not too bad of a performance from them, but the offense, for one of the first times this season, really seemingly stopped in their tracks. What were your kind of takeaways from this game, Ian?
Yeah, it just didn't seem like the offense was able to get anybody going besides Isaac Stinson. The main thing for this offense that has made them successful throughout this entire year has been the ability for them to use multiple guys. We've seen a lot of Colton Nichols. We've seen a lot of Abel Fanish. We've seen a lot of Zach Jure. None of those guys really were able to get anything going on offense, and I think that kind of contributed to this goose egg that was put up on the board.
Well, I think another thing you got to look at, the run game also very difficult to get going. Now, a very good front from Osage that was able to get through the gaps and really wreak havoc along and create pressure on the run game, and not only on that, but on Braden Matheny as well. He, for probably the first time this game, he seemed a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, I think the offensive line had a really tough time with some of these defensive players of Osage. Drake Williams is one guy who was just fantastic on defense. We talked about it, 3.5 sacks. John Kimmery was also a force to be reckoned with. And really, they had a lot of trouble with it. And I think that kind of contributes to this run game not working. I think it kind of also contributes to the pocket collapsing a lot of times on Braden Matheny. And it kind of just forced Matheny to have to throw the ball up a lot and just not really get a whole lot on his ball. Really kind of did decrease his accuracy that he had in this game with his throws. So I think it kind of all comes down to that, just the offensive line not being able to handle this defense for Osage. So, I mean, you got to give credit where credit is due. Osage really had their hands full throughout the entire game. But if Hallsville is going to rebound next week and play to their full potential on offense, that line is going to have to hold up a little bit better.
It really will. And, one of the things that you can look at is the offensive line. But, for how much praise we've been giving Braden Matheny, I think it does deserve to take a look at, and every once in a while you can look back. I think there were a few throws that he had that could have been a lot better. Some throws that we've seen him make plenty of times throughout the season that he wasn't able to execute on tonight. Now, I don't like bashing players, and that's not really what I'm doing here, but everyone kind of contributed to what's happening here. And, everyone could have really given a little bit more, except, well, maybe Isaac Stinson. He was pretty good himself today. He ran his routes well. He was able to put up some good blocks and, of course, made some great receptions. But, I mean, it seems like everybody else seemingly could have given a little bit more tonight or could have executed at least a little better.
Yeah, I think when we talk about the quarterback, Braden Matheny, he's had such a strong season, and he's just done so much for this offense. In sports, everyone has a tough night. Everyone has their off night. And it just seemed like for Matheny and for a lot of guys that it was just an off night, and they didn't have their best tonight. And it's unfortunate for Hallsville. It's unfortunate to lose this game and fall to 4-2. But I mean, you have to expect that to happen sometimes, and I think that's really just what happened tonight.
Yeah, and now taking a look kind of at the defensive side of things, it was impressive because Hallsville for most of the game was able to contain the run, and they were able to slow down Osage's offense, which is very impressive with the way that they've been playing in the last few weeks. And it was a little bit of a turnaround here. The way that the defense was able to perform, was there anyone that kind of stuck out to you?
Yeah, I think Xavier Stinson was really the guy. I know I kind of mentioned this at halftime, but Xavier Stinson played very well on defense. I thought Jacob Plummer was big on that sack in the second half. And Abel Fanish as well. Maybe a little bit of an off game on offense running the ball, but on defense he was very sharp, very sharp. And I just think overall there's a lot of improvements to be made on defense. Aiden Shadrowski, another guy who I thought played a pretty solid game, but I mean overall just a lot to handle with this run game that Osage had, and with Aiden Williams, and ultimately it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, and I mean, you can talk about these other guys, but to me, it seemed like the defensive line stuck out to me. like the defensive line was able to close down the gaps. They were able to reach the run game. They were able to stop it, and whenever it was a passing play as well, there were a couple times where the offensive line was able to stand up to them, but there were also a few times where the defensive line was really able to get through and create some pressure on Maverick Trusty.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. I think Tyson Perigo and Tucker Case are a couple of guys on that defensive line that looked really well, really good. And I just think that overall they did a good job of adjusting to the run game when needed, but it just wasn't enough. Aiden Williams was able to find holes. He was able to wear them down. And, I mean, look, they did what they needed to do. 23 points allowed is less points allowed than they've been allowing in recent games, but unfortunately the offense just didn't have an answer tonight, and that's what stuck out.
Yeah, and, well, they're going to have to turn that around as Hallsville, they will be taking on next week Southern Boone, who, well, they were looking good earlier tonight as Southern Boone was really putting the pedal on the metal for that game. They were up 41 to, I believe it was 13 at halftime. And Southern Boone, they are now up. Sorry, that was a different game. I'm looking for the score right now. But yeah, some of the other games that are going around, Booneville ended up winning 10-3 over California. Again, that's not the right score right there. I don't know what this is showing me right now. Okay, here we go. We've got the games. The game for Southern Boone, it's 55-19. Apologies for that. 55-19 in the third quarter. That game going a little bit slower as Southern Boone just keeps adding to the scoreboard against Eldon. So a very big game right there, and one that's been kept pretty close. California ended up beating Booneville 35-21. California turning things around a little bit there. Blair Oaks also won their game 63-28 against the Seaman Vikings. So an interesting game there. Not one that I know too much about, but nonetheless, Blair Oaks, again, continuing to look good.
Blair Oaks are really a force in this state, and that's someone who Hallsville is going to take on in just a couple of short weeks.
Yes, it is. And then Macon ended up losing 34-0 against Brookfield today. So another interesting game that might need to be taken account of. All right. Well, any last thoughts here before we head to a quick break?
Yeah, no, I think we really covered all of it. I think it's just an off day for the offense. I think things happen. I think they're going to rebound nicely next week.
Yeah, and we'll have to see what happens right there. Also, real quick, Osage will be playing at Booneville next week. That game is going to be going down. Then they play Southern Boone and then Lutheran South to finish out their season, whereas Hall, of course, they're playing Southern Boone before they head back home for the first time this season as they play Blair Oaks and then California the following week, also at home, and that's right before the tournament, the playoffs begin. Nonetheless, we're going to head to a quick break here, and when we come back, we're going to be getting that exclusive interview with head coach Justin Conyers coming up next here on the Show Me Sports Network.
Attention Indians fans, here's your chance to help the student athletes of Hallsville by becoming a member of the Hallsville Athletic Boosters. Your gifts help provide all Hallsville athletes with the safe and positive experience while attending our school district, and also help purchase items that our sports team couldn't otherwise afford. You can join the Hallsville Athletic Boosters this season for as little as $25. Membership is open to everyone. Interested in joining? Look them up on Facebook by searching Hallsville Athletic Boosters or email at hallsvilleathleticboosters@gmail.com. Let's go Indians!
Creating custom, handcrafted woodworking projects has never been easier. Become a member of Sawdust Studios and enjoy 24/7 access to a woodworker's paradise. Outfit with industry-leading professional-grade tools, Sawdust Studios offers endless woodworking possibilities. Don't have woodworking experience? No problem, as Sawdust Studios offers affordable classes from a community of woodworkers, experienced designers, and master craftsmen. Youth classes are also offered for those junior woodworkers. For more information, search Sawdust Studios on Facebook or find them online at sawdust247.com. Sawdust Studios, your community woodshop.
Hello, Blake Gazaway here with the Show Me Sports Network. I've had the opportunity to have some amazing calls, including overtime touchdowns, walk-off home runs, buzzer-beating baskets. But I've answered another call. That's to serve my community as a volunteer firefighter. Stop and think what would happen if your home or property caught fire and no one was there to put it out. Every day, volunteer firefighters not only save lives and property, but also respond to other emergencies. Nearly 2/3 of our nation's fire departments are manned by volunteer firefighters. And because of this, we simply need more volunteers first to step up and answer the call. Stop by or contact your local fire department and see how you can become a volunteer firefighter today. I answer the call to serve my community. Will you?
In today's world, injury prevention is at the top of everyone's list. However, heat-related occurrences get routinely overlooked. Zealous WBGT puts that front and center. By using cutting-edge formulas and technology, Zealous WBGT streamlines and simplifies obtaining and documenting wet bulb globe temperature readings. With a simple touch of a button, you can check WBGT anywhere in the world, receiving alerts when the WBGT goes over the threshold you select. Join the stress-free way to protect student-athletes, employees, and overall operations from extreme heat by downloading the free Zealous WBGT app today. Save time, save money, save lives with Zealous WBGT.
Running out of some of your favorite Avon products and haven't seen an Avon brochure in quite some time? No need to worry. Avon Independent Sales Representative Michelle Carty can help with your Skin So Soft makeup, jewelry, fragrance, and skincare needs. Avon now carries cleaning supplies, clothing, daily essentials, and several small LG electronic items. You now have the opportunity to shop online 24/7 and have your order shipped directly to your front door by shopping with Michelle at mcarty.avonrepresentative.com or find her on Facebook by searching Avon Carty.
At the Boone County Journal, we're with you all the way. We know that you're more than just a subscriber. You're an employer, you're a parent, you're a neighbor. Most importantly, you're a community member. It's our goal to provide you with the latest news, sports, opinions, obituaries, classifieds, and more to keep you informed about your community. To find out more about the Boone County Journal or to subscribe, call 573-657-2334 or visit bocojoe.com. The Boone County Journal. We're with you all the way.
Welcome back into the Hallsville Indians postgame show. I'm Austin Thomas, joined by Ian Paprocki, and of course, head coach Justin Conyers here on the Show Me Sports Network. And tough loss there. What were your kind of thoughts quickly after the end of that game?
First of all, I told our defense I was very proud of the way they played tonight. To only give up 23 points, if we put them in all night long, I really am. I'm proud of them. I mean, if we could have manufactured any points offensively, we could have took a ton of pressure off of our defense. And for them to have that pressure put on them and still to compete and play the way they did tonight, some short field situations, very, very, very proud of those guys. But, offensively, if you watch the game tonight, it was a rough night as a play caller, a rough night trying to, get anything going at all. We even struggled to throw a quick game tonight. So those nights where at some point I knew this would come to a head. Can't line up and throw the ball 40 times. We're going to have to be able to run the ball physically between the tackles, and we struggled to do that early on in the night.
Well, taking a look, let's talk first about the defensive side of things. I know you mentioned in the pregame show that what you wanted to do was force them to throw the ball. Well, they didn't end up throwing the ball, but it didn't seem like it really worked too well until the end of the first half. They ended up throwing the ball a little bit, but most of the game was running. And the defense did a pretty good job at stopping the run. What went behind that?
They did. One big play early on that we gave up for the long touchdown for their first score. Other than that, I thought we really held them in check. They found a couple of things to our weak side of our defense on how we were calling things, and then we were able to make that adjustment, in third quarter and the fourth, and we're able to stop that. So once again, for our guys defensively to be out there as much as they were, they did a dang good job tonight. I'm proud of them, and it's not from a lack of effort. The thing is, momentum is a huge thing in football. And our guys, you could tell even at 7-0, they felt like the momentum was just taking over. And I'm like, don't forget who we are and what our identity is, but we just couldn't manufacture anything offensively tonight. And you have those nights some nights, and tonight was that night. So some things, obviously, that we have to work on offensively, and we got to get better this week.
I mean, looking at the offensive side of the ball, guys, it did pretty well at dispersing the ball between the run and the pass. So a few passes, and I know you mentioned the run game wasn't too strong tonight, but there were a few passes that seemed a little bit off target from Braden Matheny. Was he missing throws? Was he not getting the pocket presence they wanted? Or because it was really the first night I've seen that he didn't look like
he was rushed all night, I felt like. I don't think his reads were clear. A couple pass pros called the wrong way, and he's getting ear hold, so that was an adjustment we had to make, something we talked about and we still were calling the pass pro the wrong direction. So it's just things that we've got to clean. It's the detail piece. And some nights your quarterbacks are off. They're not on. They're not going out and throwing for 377 yards and 5 touchdowns. And tonight was that night for him. And so this is going to be a learning experience. Not down on my kid. The kid plays his butt off for us. And so we're not going to sit here and make it worse than what it really is. We're going to make it better. We're going to learn from it. That's what film's for. And so he's going to see himself on film. He's going to make those self-corrections and corrections from our coaching staff, and we're going to go get better this week.
Well, taking a look at kind of Osage's defense, Drake Williams, number 8 on that defense, the linebacker, he came through and he seemingly wrecked on defense. I mean, just kind of tell me about that performance and what was it that made him so successful tonight?
Well, it starts with what I just said a minute ago, was calling the pass pro the wrong direction. Whenever we're in a trip set and you're calling the pass pro, away from the trip side, and we can't fan with our tackle and block the outside backer, he's essentially coming free. And so that did not help us. So we made that adjustment early in the game, and then for some reason we kept getting the miscommunication with the pass pro call, and that allowed him to come off that edge hard. And I mean, essentially, obviously, unblocked with a free shot at our quarterback, and so that's something that we have to be better. Because I'm the offensive play caller, I have to make sure that Braden knows exactly how to call the pass play and why we're calling it. Not just to call it, but why we're doing it so that we make sure we're protecting him back there at quarterback.
So kind of looking forward to the next week of practice here. I mean, a lot of times it's been focusing on the defensive aspect, the tackling. That's been one thing that you worked on a lot in previous weeks. Seemed like that was more of your strength tonight. And I saw a lot of good tackles out there. Are you going to be planning to focus a little more on offense for maybe one of the first times this season?
Yeah, it's always Tuesday's always our heightened sense of focus on offense day, and I mean it may have to be a whole offensive day this week because we just once again we've got to be able to run the ball. I mean, early on, I'm talking with an offensive line coach, and he's just like, guys, they got 7 in the box, we have to throw, which we do, we know that. But we just can't throw the ball every single down. And so we're going to have to find ways to get into some bigger sets, more tight ends. I mean, if we got to bring another tight end in and go even 2 and 3 tight ends at times, that's what we'll do. But we'll get to some sets this week where we're able to run the football.
All right. Well, any final thoughts from you real quick?
Last thing is, I just want to apologize to all of our fans that made this trip down here. We're sorry we played the way we did tonight. That starts with me as a head coach, and I will make sure that we shore things up this week, and we're a much better team next week.
All right, we'll be looking forward to a different performance next week and excited for that one at Southern Boone. Once again, you can catch us with that coverage here on the Show Me Sports Network every single week. You can download our app, Show Me Sports Network, on the Google Play Store or on the Apple App Store. You can also listen to us online, showmesportsnetwork.com, or you can watch us on YouTube, Show Me Sports Network. Subscribe to us. Make sure that you don't miss any of our broadcasts, as we are the best coverage of Mid-Missouri football and Mid-Missouri sports for high school football. Nonetheless, this has been Austin Thomas. Thank you for joining us. Head coach Justin Conyers here, and thank you for tuning in for the production. So from Osage Beach, this is Austin Thomas checking out for the night. Have a fantastic rest of your night, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Buffs RV is your locally owned and operated RV dealership in Festus, Missouri. We've been in business since 1972, several of our employees having over 30 years experience each in the industry. We strive to put customer satisfaction first and foremost. Buffs RV has a well-stocked parts inventory with our main focus on our service department. Call us at 636-937-9183 or stop by and see us at 2085 US 67 in Festus. Whether you need advice, parts, or service, and everything in between, Buffs RV, where your adventure awaits.
Serving fans throughout the Midwest and even more around the world, this is the Show Me Sports Network. The preceding was an exclusive broadcast property presentation of the Show Me Sports Network and was a high-fidelity all-digital broadcast. This broadcast is copyright by the Show Me Sports Network for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this broadcast without the Show Me Sports Network's written consent is prohibited.